warm weather's here. They know that means playoff time, and they played like a playoff team tonight.
A big 10-point win here, Tim. 101-91. And for a recap of the game in an interview with Jim Gray, join us shortly on ESPN News. And of course, a reminder now, coming up next on ESPN, the McDonald's High School All-American basketball game. So for Tim Legler, Jim Gray, and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Brent Musburger saying so long from Philadelphia, where the Detroit Pistons have run the record on back-to-back games to 15-5. Now let's send it to San Diego.
Welcome to ESPN's A Week of Madness, presented by Harley-Davidson.
It's one of the most anticipated annual events, the first chance to see the stars of tomorrow on high school basketball's biggest stage. Today's youth, tomorrow's stars. For nearly 30 years, the spectacle that is the McDonald's High School All-American game has given us so many great memories and a few familiar faces. Tonight, we'll take a glimpse into the future as the nation's elite bring their best at the ultimate high school hoops venue. The stage is set. It's time once again to unveil the household names of tomorrow. It's the 2006 McDonald's High School All-American game, and it's coming up next. Welcome to what is for many an initial look at the future of college basketball and the NBA. The 29th McDonald's All-American game from Cox Arena in San Diego, California. Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Pasch alongside Tim McCormick. Jason Williams will be alongside shortly. And Tim, you played in one of the first McDonald's All-American games back in the days of soft serves and Happy Meals. You look at this game and how it's changed. How much has it changed and how much have the players changed?
You mean back in the prehistoric short shorts era? Look, it's hugely different. 8 players are over 7 foot in this game. They're athletic. They play in transition. Back in 1980, no national TV. The NBA scouts couldn't care less what we're doing. I'm amazed at the way these guys get up and down the court, Dave.
One guy who does that very well, even though he's 7 feet 1, is Greg Oden. Tell us about him.
Yeah, I look at it this way, that Hall of Fame caliber centers come around every 8 to 10 years. The names Russell, Chamberlain, Alcindor. Greg Oden belongs on that list. Quite frankly, he's the best high school defensive player that I've ever seen.
Oden going to Ohio State, one of 3 players in this game that'll be playing with Thad Matta next year for the Buckeyes. 7'1", 260 from Indianapolis, Indiana. Now, the third member of our crew tonight played in the McDonald's All-American game back in 1999. Here's Jason Williams.
Thanks, Dave. I'm standing here with Gerald Henderson and Wayne Ellington, both going to Duke and UNC respectively. Now, guys, I played in this whole series about Duke and UNC. Joseph Forte was one of my really good friends. We didn't get a chance to see each other a lot. Our friendship kind of faded. Will the same thing happen to you guys, Wayne?
Definitely not. I feel like we're going to remain the closest friends, even though we're going to be in a big rival in college basketball. I don't think anything comes between our friendship.
Now, fans down there are crazy, and you guys both know this. So will you guys get a chance to hang out a lot next year?
Hey, I hope so, man. I mean, the campuses are so close together. I mean, I can see us definitely hanging out, and hopefully this friendship will stay together.
All right, well, there you have it. Looks like the friendship's going to remain. Thanks. Back to you, Dave.
All right, Jason, Ellington and Henderson likely playing their final game together tonight. The 29th McDonald's All-American game tips off next.
Major League Baseball is back. It's opening night on ESPN2. Paul Konerko and the defending champions take on their AL Central rivals. Opening night, Indians-White Sox, Sunday at 8 on ESPN2.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? 1, 2, 3.
The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship Final Four begins Sunday on ESPN. Coverage starts at 6:30 Eastern. Presented by Orbitz.
Homeowners need cash? you need to know about the no closing cost home equity line of credit from Countrywide. Unlike many lenders, with Countrywide there's no application fee, no credit reporting fee, no appraisal fee, no underwriting fee, no closing costs. So you could use more of your loan to pay off credit cards and lower your bills. The no closing cost home equity line of credit. No one can do what Countrywide can. Call now and see if you qualify.
Call 1-800-641-7320.
Agent 24/7, come.
New Prudential real estate signs.
Now with Yahoo, very powerful. You'll need to reload.
More than usual.
You're gonna need them. Our exclusive relationship with Yahoo Real Estate has produced this new internet technology that makes it easier than ever to find or sell a home.
It's the future of real estate.
Prudential Real Estate and Yahoo together. The future of real estate now.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the McDonald's Boys High School All-American Game is presented by McDonald's and in part by Harley-Davidson Motorcycles. It's time to ride. And Degree for Men protects men who take risks.
Back in San Diego, full house here at Cox Arena. Dave Patch, along with 1999 McDonald's All-American Jason Williams, and guy that played in the game back in 1980, Tim McCormick. And our starting lineups for this game: Taiwan Lawson, who's headed to North Carolina; Greg Oden to Ohio State; Lance Thomas undecided; Thaddeus Young, Georgia Tech; Gerald Henderson, Duke; Sharon Collins is going to Kansas; Robin Lopez is signed with Stanford; Spencer Hawes, Washington; Kevin Durant has signed with Texas. He leads this series 16-12. Josh McRoberts, now a star with Duke, the MVP last year in South Bend.
All right, we've got a great matchup in the paint to enjoy. Greg Oden against Spencer Hawes. Many consider them the top two in the class of '06. It's the first time they've ever gone head-to-head. And Spencer was telling me that he was just blown away by how strong and athletic Greg Oden is.
Also, another great matchup is Taiwan Lawson, a great point guard prospect going to UNC. Going to take over the reins of Raymond Felton. Him versus Sharon Collins is going to Kansas. Big, strong guard.
For the first time in a long time, there won't be any talk out of us tonight about who's going to the NBA next year. New draft rules say that you must be at least 19 years of age or a year removed from high school to play in the NBA. All these players going to college next year.
And I'll tell you why that's so significant. 14 players in the last two McDonald's All-Americans games have gone right from the prom to the NBA. Well, that's not going to happen here, so kids aren't worried about showcasing themselves for the scouts. We've seen a lot more defense and unselfishness.
Jump shot by Kevin Durant, 6'10" from Maryland. He's going to Texas. He's only 17 years old.
And he is my favorite to win the MVP in this game.
Tim making calls already. No, I think the thing I look forward to in today's game, since nobody can go early to the draft, is you're really going to get to see a test of a kid's character. How bad do they want to be good? How bad do they want to show everybody in the country?
Spencer Hawes at 7 feet with a beautiful spin and laying with the opposite hand. Hawes going to Washington. He's from Seattle, played at the same high school as Martell Webster, is now with the Blazers. There's Gerald Henderson.
You know, I got a chance to play against him this summer in Philly. One of the most smooth players I've ever played against, and he's going to do wonderful things at Duke University.
Oh, already starting the Duke hype, are we, Jason?
Hey, come on, guys. He's smooth. He's like Grant Hill.
Yeah, I played with his daddy, Gerald Henderson Sr., and the thing I like the most about G-Man Jr. is his basketball IQ. I think he's the smartest player out here.
Especially how Duke's going to open up next year. Not going to have too many dominant scorers. Big chance for him to come in and set up.
Oden comes out of nowhere and swats that one away. And then Lawson firing down the floor. And the soon-to-be North Carolina Tar Heel lays it in. That was started by Oden on the defensive end.
You're going to see that Greg has his right wrist taped pretty strong. He sprained it, and he said, I can't shoot real well, so I'll just dunk the ball and block shots.
Listen, Bill, I know Raymond Felton, okay? He was one of the fastest players I played against. But this kid, Taiwan Lawson, looks like a speeding bullet.
There's a Chase Budinger with the basket. He's headed to Arizona. He came in second in the slam dunk contest the other night, and he can fly. Terrific volleyball player, world class. How about Lawson just hanging in the air and scoring?
You know, it's funny, I got a chance to watch him play a lot in workouts and practice, and he really didn't do too much, but he's a big gamer. When the lights come on, he steps up, and he's going to have a chance to do a lot of that when the lights come on at UNC.
And the reason he chose North Carolina, loves Roy Williams, obviously, but he watched Ray Felton lead his team to a national championship, and he feels like he has the same kind of quick start, change direction, Isaiah Thomas-like ability. It's a perfect fit for him to go up and down in that fast break.
Here's Gerald Henderson. And rebound by Brooke Lopez. Robin Lopez, rather, is twin Brooke Lopez playing in this game as there's a turnover by the West squad. But this is the third time that we've had twins. Second time in the men's game. Robin and Brooke Lopez both going to Stanford. The other twins in the men's side, the Collins boys, went to Stanford as well.
Kind of reminds you of them. They're very defense oriented, and it's hard to tell which one is better. They do so many good things.
Stanford has the market cornered on twins.
Well, those twins always used to beat me up when we played against them.
Here's Bunninger down floor. And kept alive by Durant.
Can you imagine how unfair that is to go in there and whoa?
Greg Oden again averaged 5 blocks per game in high school, already 2 in this game. Oden going to Ohio State, the player of the year in high school basketball.
How about this, Jason? You better just work on your jump shot tonight. Don't take it to the paint because your boys are watching back at home and you're going to get swatted.
Well, that's something you have to understand as a guard. Guards don't really understand the concept of a floater until they get to the NBA. Well, they better learn tonight.
Oh, beautiful move with the left hand by Robin Lopez.
You were going after #1 prospect, huh?
Yeah, I was going to say, can you imagine for a normal high school team walking out for the opening jump and you see the Lopez brothers? They're both 7 foot 250. Said one team actually sent all 5 guys back on defense. They didn't even go in for the jump ball.
Greg Oden is fouled on his way to the basket. Boy, Ohio State gets 3 players from this game of the 24, 3 of them going to Ohio State. Greg Oden, Mike Conley, they were high school teammates. And Daquan Cook, who's playing for the West squad, also in this game.
But you got Daquan Cook, who has one of the purest jump shots out. And you see right coming in the game right here, Mike Conley, who's a pure point guard, runs the team, doesn't do anything great, but does everything very well, very disciplined, gets the ball in the hands of the field at the right situation. But, Tim, here's my quick question to you. Doesn't seem like Greg Oden has a variety of moves down low on the post, but he gets it done every single night. What would you say is his best attribute as a basketball player?
I think it's his body, and it's going to get better. I had a chance to work with him during the summer when he was in his junior year and had a chance to cover him a little bit, major mismatch, but reminds me a lot of David Robinson with the ability to move.
Oden also a terrific student. His GPA is around 3.6. Thomas, great feed by Lawson. And Lance Thomas, who is trying to decide between Rutgers and Jason Williams' alma mater, Duke, gets the finish.
When you played in this game, Jason, what's the mindset? Are you worried about winning and involving your big guys, or did you come in and say, I want to be the MVP, I'm going to try to score?
Well, you know, I didn't come
Be honest.
No,
Collins with the finish after the air ball by Durant.
I just came in just trying to be the best player I could be. And I think the one thing I wanted to show everybody, I was a competitor. I wasn't going to come out here and just be out here to have a good time. I was going to try to win. And that was the biggest thing for me, to try to win the basketball game.
Fall away by Thaddeus Young, who is one of 2 players in this game that's headed to Georgia Tech. A lot of ACC flavor in this McDonald's All-American game. 3 players from North Carolina, a couple from Duke, and a couple from Georgia Tech.
I like that. I like the ACC flavor. Nice little touch there, Dave. I like that.
Well, they could use it after not having any teams in the Final Four.
Nice comeback, Dave.
Here's Hawes. 3rd block for Oden, but they call a foul. Greg Oden has been spectacular so far. Spencer Hawes, not bad either. A couple 7-footers getting it done. 3-point lead early in San Diego for the East.
Doubleheader action, Sunday 12:30 Eastern on ABC.
Nice Harley.
Yeah.
had to get it, you know? It's great. It's the way I live my life, you know, by my own rules. Well, that's my creed or motto. My credo, you know?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like to live like by the edge of my... Can you believe the crime in this town? It's crazy. It's like broad daylight right in front of us. It's like, hello, it's my bike, miss.
Maybe you should get your own.
Degree for men. 3 times the protection for men who take risks.
Now you can access the nation's largest high-speed wireless broadband network without a PC card. Get built-in broadband access. Now available in cutting-edge HP notebooks and Lenovo ThinkPad notebooks, so you can work wirelessly without the hassle of hotspots.
Go get him.
Thanks. Verizon Wireless. It's the network.
Ty Lawson, who signed with North Carolina, leads all scorers with 4 points as the East has an early 3-point lead. Dave Pass, Jason Williams, and Tim McCormick back in San Diego. Doug Lipscomb is the head coach of the East squad. He's from Wheeler High School in Georgia. Harvey Gattani is the West head coach, and boy, Harvey has coached some great players at Los Angeles Fairfax High School, including Craig Smith, Boston College Eagle.
You know, talking a little bit about Tywan Lawson, I think he's really going to come into UNC right away and have a big impact. Really going to move Bobby Frazier to the backup position. That's how talented I think this kid is, especially. And then you have Wayne Ellington coming in, who's going to play 2 guard. I mean, I think they have a chance to get to the Final Four next year, especially with Tyler Hansborough down low.
And Brandon Wright on the front line. You're talking about a team that's loaded, and Ohio State is outstanding. North Carolina is just as good as a class.
Oh, Gerald Henderson, terrific ball handling ability. Yeah, I like the comparison to Grant Hill. You see a lot of that so far in this game.
Well, especially, I mean, you talk for a kid who's 17, 18-year-old. Look at his body type, Tim. I mean, he looks like a man out there. I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of these guys look like men out there, especially Oden. Looks like he's 35. But, I mean, he just looks like he's physically more dominant than everybody else in the court.
Oh, nice right hook by Spencer Hawes, who is headed to Washington.
Big fan of Tim Duncan. Told me that Duncan doesn't make the Sports Center type plays, but he's so effective it makes others better.
Thaddeus Young with the left hand. Young signed with Georgia Tech. Well, Spencer Hawes will join John Brockman at Washington. Lorenzo Romar starting to get more McDonald's All-Americans.
Yeah, son of Jeff Hawes, graduated in '74, and also nephew of Steve Hawes, was put in actually their Hall of Fame.
Here's Mike Conley. Henderson with the follow.
And that's what amazes me about him, just because he got me to jump out of my seat.
That's 7 points for Gerald Henderson is going to do.
I tell you, he jumps like Tim back in the day.
Hawes, another block by Oden. The future Buckeye with 3 already in this game.
Yeah, and the beauty of what Greg Oden is doing is everybody on the white team is trying to locate number 50 and then the rim. And Gerald Henderson is just an amazing athlete. He jumps as high as anybody. If this isn't bad enough, I like the kid, but I found out today that he's a scratch golfer. His low round is 67 and already has a hole-in-one. It's not fair that somebody does everything so good.
How does a Duke guy win the slam dunk contest, by the way? Aren't they supposed to win the 3-point shootout? But Henderson did. Here's Collins taking it himself. And blocked by Thaddeus Young of Georgia Tech. Young from Memphis, Tennessee. Picked Georgia Tech over Carolina, Memphis, Kansas.
Now, I'm surprised right here that Collins tried to go in for a layup. He was doing windmills and warm-ups and everything. He should try to flush that on him.
Why he didn't? Because Thaddeus Young is in the way.
Would have blocked his head.
Oh, my goodness.
4 blocks for Greg Oden, that time on Kevin Durant, who's 6'10" with a wingspan of about 8'10".
And I'm going to say it on national television, I'm in love with Greg Oden. I would love to play with him. He is going to...
The alley-oop attempt, and Henderson goes down hard as he was fouled on the play.
Now, we've been watching the Final Four, and what we're seeing are athletic players that get at the rim. Well, this is the future of the Final Four. There are so many 6'8" players that get up. We're talking Kevin Durant, Darrell Arthur, Brandon Wright, Thaddeus Young. The class of '06 is so loaded with these long, rangy athletes that play above the rim.
And wholesale substitutions by both teams, but not much of a drop-off. And even an improvement with some of the talent as they rotate players in and out. Greg Oden goes to the bench for the first time. What a fabulous player Oden is. And what a great team player. Won 3 straight state championships and tied the Indianapolis state record, 45 straight wins. That tied Oscar Robertson's high school team record for consecutive victories.
Well, Tim and I got a chance to do a lot of his games this year, and the thing that was so good about him was that he wasn't going to be a guy who was going to give you all these flashy moves on the post, but he rebounded every ball and dunked everything he got.
Now, Greg Oden can't go pro because he must be now 19 years old and at least 1 year out of high school. Would he be the #1 overall pick in the draft if he could be a pro?
Oh, he would have been the #1 pick last year as a junior. That's how in love the NBA is. And
Critton in the alley-oop attempt to Brandon Wright, and it fails. Now on the other end is Darrell Arthur missing.
I think no matter when he goes, where he decides to go to the draft, he'll be a #1 pick. Tim, do you think that rule could actually hurt Greg Oden if he goes into school next year and doesn't have a dominant year as people think he would have?
Oh, he's going to have a dominant year, Jason. He will be first-team All-American the second he sets foot in Columbus. And I'm going to go this far as saying that he is the kind of kid that may stay in college a little bit longer. He may play a couple years at Ohio State.
And especially if Daquan Cook performs like that. Cook also going to Ohio State. The Thad 5, as they're calling it in Columbus. Thad Matta has 5 terrific high school players coming in next year. Here's a future Tar Heel, Brandon Wright, missing. And rebound a future Longhorn, DJ Augustin. And he can't hit. Wright the rebound.
The funny thing is that OSU is going to be, everybody's talking about them to be so good next year. I mean, they just won the Big Ten championship this year with Terrence Dials.
A year early, and that's the beauty of the attack, Jason, is that Dials leaves and he vacates that center position. J.J. Sullinger leaves. That's Daquan Cook. They're actually adding pieces in the places they need it.
Here's Wayne Ellington. Ellington going to North Carolina, tried to hit Brandon Wright, who's also signed with the Tar Heels, but a turnover. The East leads by 5, 8 points for Gerald Henderson to lead all scorers so far in the game.
You can't ignore Friday's sizzling chicken and shrimp, so come in for one of our irresistible sizzling platters. Everyone could use more Fridays.
When you are a kid, it's easy. You do it just because you like it. So my advice to you is never grow up, my friends.
For better or for worse.
Baby, what happened to your face?
It's just a bee sting. But it can't get much worse
Marriage is a sacred bond
than this. This Friday. From the people who brought you Dawn of the Dead.
The worms are in her brain. Something's wrong with me.
Slither. Rated R. Starts Friday.
Brian, your scarecrow's pathetic. This land is your land. They're using your farm like it's a free buffet. Well, nothing in life is free. And why stop at crows, Brian? Foxes, rabbits, hippies. Drinks like a soda, kicks like an energy drink. Vault, get to it!
You can't ignore Friday's sizzling chicken and shrimp, so come in for one of our irresistible sizzling platters. Everyone could use more Fridays.
John Saunders back in New York with the 30 at 30 update. Major League Baseball will hire former Senate Majority Leader George Mitchell to head an investigation into past steroid use by players, most prominently Barry Bonds. ESPN has learned all players being investigated, including Bonds, will be allowed to continue playing during the investigation. Meanwhile, the Cleveland Cavaliers got 46 points out of their young leaders tonight, LeBron James, and they are headed to the playoffs for the first time.
East leads the West by 5. Greg Oden with 4 blocks already in this game.
And people at home, if you're wondering why he would be the #1 pick in the draft this year, it's because he does everything that you need him to. He wins basketball games by defense, rebounding, and shooting and blocking shots.
And Greg is standing by with Tim.
Thanks a lot, Dave. You said that the ESPYs was great. You're having fun this week. Which is the best for you, Greg?
Well, I don't know. The ESPYs was real cool. I got to meet all those celebrities, but it's been fun here.
The game starts out. You're dominating on the defensive end. You look like you're having a ball. What can we look for as the game proceeds?
More defense. My teammates are doing a great job of scoring. We're up, so I'm pretty happy.
All right, you said you've had a great week. What have been the highlights for you?
Highlights going to Ronald McDonald House, playing with the little kids. Adrian, he's real smart. He's only like 6 or something. And going to Sea Road, seeing the sea lion. It was almost as big as me, but, you know.
All right, very good. Have fun in the second half. We'll see if we can get him some shots. He said his wrist is sore. We're going to see a lot of block shots and dunks.
All right, Greg Oden, the only man Tim ever looked up to.
Well, the guy who looks like he's 35. It's kind of weird to hear him talk about sea lions.
You see on the bottom the points and rebounds of the players and what school that they've signed with. Scrolling by. There's a putback by Earl Clark, who's headed to Louisville. And he's the 3rd Louisville signee in the last 3 years in the McDonald's All-American game. But Rick Pitino didn't get the other 2. Sebastian Telfair and Amir Johnson both went straight to the NBA. Deep 3 by Daquan Cook is going to Ohio State.
That's a sign what Ohio State's getting. But back to Earl Clark, I actually grew up in New Jersey, right around Broadway, and he reminds me a lot of Scottie Pippen.
Basket by Ellington.
Give you everything you need on the court.
Wayne Ellington going to North Carolina. Here's Cook again. West in white, East in red.
How much do you guys love Greg Oden as a kid? I mean, he's got such a great personality.
What we were talking about, you know, he looks like he's 35 to me. He was talking about sea lions. I mean, that kind of stuff just makes me laugh.
Oh, Brandon Wright couldn't finish off the pass from Javaris Crittenden. And Vernon Macklin, who's going to Georgetown, comes up with it. Save out to Clark. Long 3. And Crittenden is going to Georgia Tech with the rebound.
Yeah, I would think there will be several players with 10+ rebounds, a lot of shot blocking in all-star games, a lot of missed shots.
See Brendan Wright with a little jump shot there. He reminds me a lot of Bill Cartwright when he shoots the ball. He kind of swings the ball around and has a little awkward release, but he knocks it down.
Here's DJ Augustin. Augustin is signed with Texas. He went to Brother Martin in New Orleans. His family was evacuated to Texas because of Hurricane Katrina. Ended up picking the Longhorns over LSU in North Carolina. Nice move by Vernon Macklin, one of 2 players in this game. Going to a Big East school. Macklin will play at Georgetown.
Jason, last summer at the Top 100 camp, you and I had a chance to spend time with over 80% of these players and get to know them a little bit. What advice do you give a young player as a McDonald's All-American handling all the stuff off the court?
Well, just that you can't let that deter you from what your real goal is. You know, a lot of times when you're here at McDonald's, it was a great opportunity for me because it humbled you. You got a chance to see how lucky you were to play a sport every day that you love to do. Visiting kids at a Ronald McDonald House who had, you know, death-causing diseases. I mean, those are the kind of things that make you realize how special you are.
Javaris Crittenden, who is signed with Georgia Tech, played high school basketball on the same team as Dwight Howard, rattles home a 3.
Tim, does he remind you a little bit of Jared Jack?
Yeah, I do see that. He's a big power guard. This could be good, guys.
Brandon Wright.
You know, it's kind of basic. He just jumped really high and put it in.
That looked like a Tim McCormick dunk. Horse. The 2-hand flush, baby.
Now, Tim McCormick's dunks look more like Candace Parker. He just gets it over and grabs the rim.
Thank you.
Tim, don't take that.
James Keefe missing the dunk. Crittenden. Vernon Macklin throws it down. Macklin going to Georgetown.
And that's what I love about Javaris. Sees the court so well.
And then right with the block on the other end on James Keefe. And then Keefe, who signed with Ben Howland's UCLA Bruins, couldn't get to the loose ball. Reynolds tracks it down. Another three for Javaris Crittenden, who's off to Georgia Tech. And a timeout by the West squad. East by 18.
Fill it up in a hurry. Fill it up in a hurry.
Who's impressed you other than Greg Oden the most so far in this game as we look at this alley-oop?
Oh, I like the athletes. I think that Macklin and Arthur and Durant, these guys run the court so well, and they spread the defense. That's been the biggest deal. And look at the way these players are spread out to the power conferences. And look at the Big Ten. Yeah, 3 is good, but they're all going to Ohio State.
I really like Javaris. I really like his style. I really like Tyron Lawson as well. But Javaris, he sees the court, and plus he played with Dwight Howard in high school. I mean, so he's used to making those alley-oop passes. They're pretty easy for him.
And he offers something that's so critical that Paul Hewitt was missing at Tech last year, and that's a playmaker. Somebody you give the ball to in key situations, clear out, and let him create for himself and others.
And again, all these players will be going to college next year. The new draft rule must be at least 19 years of age or 1 year out of high school to go to the NBA. So not as many scouts and GMs in attendance as we've had in years past. Here's Scotty Reynolds, who signed with Oklahoma, was disappointed that Kelvin Sampson took the Indiana job because he was really looking forward to playing for Sampson, but he is locked in to play for the Sooners next year.
Well, doesn't he have the option to leave now? The coach left him. Isn't that how that goes?
I don't believe that's in place, but he was very upset. He really likes Kelvin Sampson, and he's not there anymore.
18-point lead for the East. Back to San Diego in a moment.
Rated T for teen. In 2013, a new breed of soldier will be unleashed.
Cross-con, on.
Cover!
Go, go, go! Send in the bird! Affirmative. Apache's en route. Target locked. What's that tank? Move! Where's my Apache? Inbound hot, Ghost Leader.
Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter.
Introducing mobile ESPN. Sports fans, your phone has arrived.
With HBO and Cinemax, you get more of the best. And with 13 channels, there's always more choice. More chances to catch a big movie anytime you tune in. More chances to see big stars at their best. More hit shows, like the new season of The Sopranos. And Big Love, the new series that takes a look at a not-so-typical marriage. HBO and Cinemax, the best is yet to come.
Now, you can take Dish Network with you anywhere you go. Introducing the Pocket Dish. Record or download all of your favorite Dish Network programs from your DVR at no additional cost. Then, watch them anytime, anywhere. You can also listen to thousands of MP3 songs and view and share thousands of photos. Choose from 3 different sizes. Call today and find out how you can get up to $60 cash back. It's a special deal only available to Dish Network customers.
Duke's Gerald Henderson with 8 points to lead all scorers. It's an 18-point lead for the East. Let's check in with Tim McCormick, who's standing by with a special guest. Tim?
Thanks a lot. Greg Oden is 7-1, but the biggest star in the house is Nick Cannon. He's got a #1 TV show, a movie coming out, and he's performing at halftime. Now, you say you've got some game. Could you get out there and compete?
I mean, these dudes is bigger than I thought they was going to be, but I can get out there and hold my own, run point a little bit. You know what I mean?
All right. What are you going to perform at halftime? What song will we be able to hear?
I'm performing my new single called Dime Piece off my album Stages. It's going to be hot.
All right, you go get stretched out. We'll see you at halftime.
Absolutely.
All right, back to you, Dave.
And Tim, I know you can't wait for that at halftime. Tim, a big fan.
I don't know if Tim knows what a dime piece is. I got to ask him about that.
Javaris Crittenden, who's going to Georgia Tech with 8 points. Crittenden, a terrific player, chose Georgia Tech over Oklahoma, Florida, and Florida State. There's a three-point basket. Durant Arthur, who is still undecided, trying to choose between a handful of schools, Kansas, Texas, Arizona in the mix. On the other end, the three-point shootout champ from the other night, Wayne Ellington, who signed with North Carolina.
Can you imagine Ellington and Henderson on a high school team together? How do you cover them?
You know, I got to say it now. I don't know if Tim's been training in soft sand, but he got over here so fast. You're so quick in your feet, Tim.
You see the scroll underneath the players of your favorite player, how many points they have in the school that they're attending. Here's James Keefe, blocked by Wright, but a foul is called.
You know, I'm really scared to say how good UNC is going to be next year with Brendan Wright playing down low with Tyler Hansborough. Then you have Tywan Lawson running your point guard. I mean, Wayne Ellington, your shooting guard, it just looks, it's getting better and better for him.
Exactly. And Rayshon Terry had a nice year. There's no doubt about it. Brandon Wright is going to take his job, and that's going to upgrade the front line. He's so excited to play with Tyler Hansborough, and Tyler's going to open up a lot of space for Thaddeus to have it, or Brandon to get to the rim. He said that his goal in this game today is to prove that he's the best power forward in the nation.
Wow, do you think Tyler Hansborough will be there next year is a big question.
That's a good one. I haven't heard any talk otherwise. I think he will.
Could they be preseason #1 if all those players are there?
Yep, absolutely.
Here's a three-point shot that won't go for Earl Clark, who signed with Louisville. Another rebound for Vernon Macklin, who signed with Georgetown. He's got 6 boards already. Javaris Crinton is off, and Durant Arthur with a board. DJ Augustin, fancy spin, can't score. Keefe with a rebound. I know, Tim, you really like James Keefe, who's from Santa Margarita, California, and is going to play for UCLA. And I know you like him not just for the fact that his great-great-grandfather invented toothpaste.
I wonder if he gets some free cases of toothpaste because of that. But James Keefe is a tremendous prospect. He's athletic, he's big, and he was telling me that when he was going into 8th grade, he learned how to dunk, and so he was practicing his dunk. That's pretty impressive. We're talking about 8th grade. But the day before their first game, he went up to dunk it. He kind of caught himself on the rim a little bit and fell down and broke both of his arms on the fall. Missed the season because of it. Oof. Had casts on both arms. How do you explain that one? I guess if you're in 8th grade and you break your arm dunking, that's kind of a cool thing. It's a badge of honor for you.
What if you break both of them, though?
I don't know, guys. I was still tapping foam in 8th grade. Tapping foam was a big thing for me.
Got the net, baby.
You got it every time.
You know, Jason, what's changed as you watch the big players in terms of when you played in this game? I know it wasn't that long ago, 1999, but in terms of how they react to guard play.
Well, I think the thing that amazes me the most is their athletic ability to shoot the three. I mean, before in '99, I mean, I talked like it was 30 years ago, but you didn't really have a lot of big guys out there shooting threes. I mean, our big guys were bangers. Carlos Boozer down low. Now, I mean, everybody's knocking down jump shots, showing their perimeter game.
And look at that shot right there. Spencer Hawes. That's not an easy shot. Hawes, who signed with Washington, has 7 points already.
Who is the name guy that you matched up, Jay?
Again, my big match was Brett Nelson. He was going to Florida, and I was so pumped up against that because we played them later on in the year. They actually beat us, so I guess I really didn't do too well against them in the game.
Lance Thomas, who's trying to decide between Jason's alma mater Duke and Rutgers, who's also a skater and a bowler, gets the shot to fall.
He's a bowler. That's your second sport, isn't it?
Kevin Durant, who has that tremendous wingspan, 17-year-old who signed with Texas, throws down the follow.
Favorite player for Kevin Durant is Rashard Lewis, former McDonald's All-American. And he's just a freak athletically. I'm a huge fan. Remember, he's my pick to be the McDonald's All-American MVP in this contest. He's such a good runner. Said that when he was a little kid that his mom would always ask him to go to the store, and he would run to the store, and then he'd run home, and wherever he went, he was running, and it translated into a guy that could really get out on the break.
Imagine him with LaMarcus Aldridge down low if Aldridge stays.
Not fair.
Brad Buckman down low. They're going to... Now, a player I'm excited to see is number 22. He's wearing it now, but he won't be able to wear it next year. But John Shire, a lot of people talk about him being the next J.J. Redick. And I know he can't stand that, but the kid averaged 29.4 points, came from the same high school as Chris Collins, my assistant coach at Duke, can light up in a hurry.
With Mike Krzyzewski in attendance, John Shire had 21 points in 75 seconds. Ooh, how about that? And a turnover by the E squad.
Yeah, he actually watched 26 of the Duke games this year. He taped them, and what he would do is he would break them down. He would focus only on JJ, not watch any other players, and he was trying to learn how to get open off screens and how to work off the ball. It's a good idea because he's going to be inserted right into that lineup.
Well, he's going to have to play a lot of backup point guard too with Greg Paulus being down there.
Paulus, a terrific freshman. Shire gets the basket there, and it's natural there are going to be comparisons, right?
Yeah,
to Redick.
Right away, and I've seen the kid shoot can definitely fill it up, but I don't know if he can fill it up like JJ can.
Chase Bollinger, terrific athlete, wants to be an Olympic volleyball player, is talented enough to do that. Signed to play for Lawson at Arizona. Knocked out of bounds by Hawes. Chase Bollinger, who's a local kid from nearby Encinitas in Southern California, playing for Arizona in the fall.
Let's grab some McDonald's.
You buying?
Why do I always have to buy?
Because you're the one with the fancy job.
And the fancy tie. You know what? There. Now you're the one who's buying.
The tie did touch you last.
Money's tight these days. Good thing there's McDonald's Dollar Menu. Get a juicy double cheeseburger or other favorites for only $1.
Critics are already calling V for Vendetta the first great film of 2006. It's radical and remarkable, and Premiere Magazine gives it 4 stars. V for Vendetta, rated R, now playing.
Nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea. Yo, Pepto-Bismol. Nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea. Yo, Pepto-Bismol. Pink does more than you think.
Use your Capital One no-hassle card.
Protect yourself with Capital One's low rates and great rewards.
I'm so there for you. What's in your wallet?
You can access the nation's largest high-speed wireless broadband network without a PC card. Get built-in broadband access. Now available in cutting-edge HP notebooks and Lenovo ThinkPad notebooks, so you can work wirelessly without the hassle of hotspots.
Go get him.
Thanks.
Verizon Wireless. It's the network.
Back in San Diego, 2 of our judges from the Slam Dunk competition at the Powerade Jam Fest. A pair of Chargers, LaDainian Tomlinson on the left and Antonio Gates, terrific tight end, also great college basketball player at Kent State on the right.
And I love LT. All my friends back at home don't like him because I use him in 2006 Madden and just destroy everybody. I'm like, hey, don't hate beauty. He's just beautiful. That's just what he does.
What a thrill that must have been for you to meet him then, huh? The other night?
Oh, yeah, it was good. He was dying to get out there. He said he can jump a little bit. I wanted to see it.
You think he can dunk?
I think he can with those powerful legs. Are you serious? Of course.
Shire hanging out to Sharon Collins. And Bill Self will get that 3-point shot next year. Collins is signed to play at Kansas.
You have to think that would, Tim, you think they would move Mario Chalmers over to the 2?
I think Chalmers is so good that Collins is going to spend some time in the support role.
Durant on the other end at 6'10", the future Texas Longhorn buries the 3.
And it looks easy, guys, but 1,000 shots a day in the summertime will make it look easy.
You guys think Chalmers is definitely going back, huh? Remember, there was a lot of talk last year when the rule wasn't in place that he was going to go right to the NBA. I'm sure Kansas would love to have him back.
Yeah, I want you to look at Shire. At first glance, you're really impressed with the delivery, but did you notice he went up to shoot it and looked and saw 5-0 right in his face, and his reaction was to get rid of the ball, and it was a great assist.
Well, that's one thing I learned in college. Can't really leave your feet and make a pass.
Greg Oden with the nice dish out of the double team. Thaddeus Young missed the three, and then Gerald Henderson, who signed with Duke and has 8 points in this game, gets fouled.
I think that's the thing also I like about G is that he realizes who was on him at a particular time. If it's a smaller guard, he uses bigger body to push up. If you're a bigger player, take you on the perimeter, he uses quickness to get by.
Here's DJ Augustin ahead to Arthur. And a nice steal by Lance Thomas, but it was Ty Lawson that helped the cause. 2 players. I think it was Oden that got the better of Gerald Henderson on that.
Well, they were both up at the same height. That was amazing.
Yeah, one of them 7'1" and the other 6'5". Greg Oden, just a fantastic dunk. Augustin missing the 3. Pass ahead to Young. Augustin knocked it out of bounds.
I'll tell you a player I really like to see get involved for the West is, you see right here in the pass, I don't know who caught it, but they were both up there. It's Damon Carter from Reserve Christian School going to Baylor. His nickname is Tweety, he's number 2, but actually he scored 7,494 points in high school, started varsity as a 7th grader. Really like to see him get going.
That was sick. I mean, Gerald Henderson jumps as high as anybody in this game, and he went to the top, and Oden went about a foot above him.
How about Thaddeus Young? Boy, he's been impressive. Young is signed with Georgia Tech, got the basket on that play. He's also a 4.0 student. 3-pointer by future UCLA Bruin James Keefe.
Like the fact that the 6'10", 6'11" guys, they make threes now.
Oden may have hurt his wrist on that dunk with Gerald Henderson. Either it was on the rim or on Henderson's head.
Well, the game's important, but it's not that important to get hurt in.
It's okay. He can change this game just by going out there. Don't shoot. Just go out there and block shots.
Block every shot. Just block everything.
Here comes Thaddeus Young. Oh, great bounce pass to Thomas.
Do you think that Thad Mata's a little worried watching that? Coach Mata was saying earlier this year that if Greg Oden was 6'3", he's such a good athlete, he would have still recruited him for the perimeter.
Coming up at halftime, speaking of Greg Oden, a feature on the National Player of the Year, plus the visit for the boys to the Ronald McDonald House and highlights from the first half, and there have been plenty already.
Tim, that's what you're talking about right there, the IQ of Gerald Henderson. See a smaller guard on him in Carter, use his body, post him up, shoot over the top.
How about the mid-range jump shot by Henderson?
Yeah, Gerald Henderson, to me, future NBA All-Star. That's how good I think he is.
Critton in the alley. Finish by Lance Thomas.
I know it's a little bit late, but the over-under on number of dunks in this game at 20. Do you take the high or the low?
I'm going over.
Nice move by DJ Augustin, who signed with Texas. 40 seconds remaining in the opening half. Javaris Crittenden, future Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket. Now Augustin on the other end. Will he give it up? He will! And Daquan Cook. I think Thad Mata was worried before. He just saw another Buckeye go down in Daquan Cook, but he's okay.
I think he saw a Big Ten title flashing before his eyes.
But Cook's all right. Macklin wasn't ready for it, but still got it to Crittenden, and then Lance Thomas, who is still undecided with the finish.
And that's the playmaking ability right there. Javaris is going to really bring excitement into Georgia Tech. His ability to see the entire floor.
Yeah, I've never thrown a lob for a dunk. Take me through the sequence. It can't be that hard in this game, can it? You just throw it near the corner of the backboard.
Tim, when I throw a lob too, it doesn't matter where I throw it. You get it regardless.
Terrell Arthur and a foul. Nice pass by Augustin. Rick Barnes has to like that.
I think what I'm liking about this game so far is that everybody's been sharing the ball. Nobody's been selfish. People have been making great passes. And the ability to finish right there in traffics is what's going to make Arthur a good basketball player in the years to come.
Well, As we mentioned before, we have 2 players that will be heading to Big East schools. Nobody to Connecticut, but that's one of the choices for Arthur, still undecided. Here's Crittenden. And they will not get a shot off. That will not count. An exciting first half. Gerald Henderson, who signed with Duke, leads all scorers with 10. Greg Oden had 4 points and 4 blocks. Oden going to Ohio State. So we're at the half in San Diego in the 29th McDonald's All-American game. One half of exciting basketball to go at Cox Arena.
Major League Baseball is back. It's opening night on ESPN2. Paul Konerko and the defending champions take on their AL Central rivals. Opening night, Indians-White Sox, Sunday at 8 on ESPN2.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? 1, 2, 3.
The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship Final Four begins Sunday on ESPN. Coverage starts at 6:30 Eastern. Presented by Orbitz.
Degree for men. 3 times the protection for men who take risks.
So you used to be taller. What happened?
What happened? Pressure. The pressure to be so cool and so popular and to never say the wrong thing to anyone, so I'm cool with everyone. The pressure to drink and get high. Pressure happened.
So now what?
I don't know, but this isn't working.
Look at this. It's awesome. Wow. And I love being a trader. Living for the moment, baby.
Yeah, but is that all we're about? I mean, I love being a trader, but I also have an investing side. Like, I want to open a B&B.
B&B?
Will,
A B&B?
that's awesome.
You know what? I've always wanted to write a children's book.
What about?
Ponies.
You know what? I put money aside every month, and I'm going to open up a shelter for abused dogs.
See, that's wonderful.
Time to embrace your investing side. At Ameritrade, you'll find products and services to help you plan and invest for your goals.
Hey, Jeff, how about you?
Well, I have been thinking about opening a dance school. Let's see some moves.
Get 15 free trades plus Microsoft Money 2006 Deluxe when you open an IRA. Call 888-396-6001 or go to Ameritrade.com/invest.
7-point East lead at halftime. And we've been treated to the fine play of the National Player of the Year, Greg Oden, in the first half. 4 points, 4 blocks. Let's take a closer look at Greg Oden of Indianapolis, signed with Ohio State. Greg Oden is the most dominant basketball player in one of the most dominant basketball states, Indiana. So it might surprise you to hear the one word his coach uses to describe him.
Oh, he's a gentleman. Just a gentleman.
But don't mistake his gentle nature for a lack of determination. Greg Oden is a force.
He leads through some comments, but mostly actions and determination and toughness. He does what he has to do to make the team good.
And good is exactly what they've been, with back-to-back state titles, finishing with a perfect 29-0 record this season. Greg's accomplishments aren't only on the court. He's been on the honor roll in every grading period in high school.
Greg was definitely an A student in my class. He worked very hard to be an A student. He would never turn anything in and just want you to mark down what was wrong with it. He would always want to know, how can I make it better?
Well, basketball, I really had to work hard. But in the classroom, it kind of comes easy to me. And I just like to be there and learn and take in new information.
Greg Oden isn't kidding when he says basketball was hard for him to master.
The hardest thing for me to get good at in basketball was hitting a layup. I mean, it took me, I think, 2 years before I hit a layup in a game. I was, you know, when you're tall, you're just goofy. And a lot of guys who are tall still are goofy. And just to hit that first shot, unfortunately, when I hit my first shot, it was for the other team. But I was wide open, so I hit it, and I was so excited.
Don't expect Greg to put up too many points for his Big Ten opponents next year when he begins his college career at Ohio State. What you can expect is a player and person committed to being the best.
I think if I had one word to describe Greg Oden, it would be dedicated.
High School Player of the Year 2 straight years. Greg Oden. 7-point East lead. Much more coming up from San Diego.
You can't ignore Friday's sizzling chicken and shrimp, so come in for one of our irresistible sizzling platters. Everyone could use more Fridays.
May I take your...
Every vehicle we build comes with our racing spirit. Honda, proud to be part of the 2006 IndyCar Series.
What if you attached an innovative wing structure to some bicycle machinery and launched it from a sand dune? That works. What if you created a thin piece of plastic that could easily be used just like money anywhere in the world? That works. Suppose we created an IP network so far-reaching and expansive, it could make doing business more efficient around the globe. Suppose we put your global business network in the hands of world-class professionals, people who know it from end to end, people who know how to make it efficient. Verizon has joined with MCI to form Verizon Business, where global capability meets personal accountability to make your business more successful and your life a little easier. That works. Introducing Verizon Business.
You can't ignore Friday's sizzling chicken and shrimp, so come in for one of our irresistible sizzling platters. Everyone could use more Fridays.
Welcome back to Cox Arena in San Diego. Well, one of the true blessings for these players this week is the opportunity to visit the Ronald McDonald House. The McDonald's All-American game is about more than just basketball. And on Sunday, the boys got a first-hand look at exactly where the money they're raising will go. The visit to the San Diego Ronald McDonald House had a profound effect on the players. Javaris Crittenden and Player of the Year Greg Oden said putting smiles on the kids' faces was the highlight of the week. Nearly $5 million has been raised for charity since the inception of the All-American game 29 years ago. And Tim McCormick is standing by with one of the representatives from the Ronald McDonald House.
Thanks a lot, Dave. I'm here with Phil Palumbo, who's the chairman of this game in San Diego and also as a franchisee in the area. What exactly is the Ronald McDonald House, Phil?
Well, the Ronald McDonald House is a global organization that provides a home away from home for seriously ill children and the families that want to stay at these houses while their kids are being treated at local hospitals.
Now, the highlight for the players, all of them, they say it's when they go to the house and meet the kids. What's the impact for the kids and the players as well?
Well, I think it's great. It's great for the kids because it provides a loving environment during a time that's, you know, tough for the families that they're going through. I think it's great, too, for the kids, the high school kids, to go and see this. They get to learn and see what we're doing, and it's also a chance for them to give back to the community, which is an important part. It's something that we believe in and our founder, Ray Kroc, believed in.
Great. Thanks a lot for all of your hard work with this event and McDonald's game.
Thank you very much. It's great. It's a great event, and it goes to a great cause. And we're happy that we have it here in San Diego because all these proceeds go to the local chapter. And we're in the process, Tim, of raising about $20 million to build a bigger and better house, to go from 12 rooms to 47 rooms. And it's going to have a huge impact on the community.
Great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, Tim, 7-point lead for the East, and we'll have first half highlights when we return to San Diego.
May I take your...
Every vehicle we build comes with our racing spirit. Honda, proud to be part of the 2006 IndyCar Series.
On DVD, the wardrobe will open.
Impossible.
The witch will rise. The lion will reign. And the DVD event of the year, take them, will arrive from C.S. Lewis's epic masterpiece. The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Own it on Disney DVD April 4th.
Introducing mobile ESPN. Sports fans, your phone has arrived.
This is Pride Fighting Championships. It all started with Bushido 1. Pride Fighting Championships presents Bushido 10. Premiering Monday, April 3rd on Dish Network pay-per-view.
There's a better way to mow that's a cut above anything else out there. And that's why more landscape professionals trust the zero-turn technology of an Exmark Laser Z. Now you can mow like a pro with this industry-leading, easy-to-operate mowing system. You'll finish mowing in about half the time. And when you're done, the beautifully manicured results will be the envy of the neighborhood. So come on, go pro with the last mower you'll ever need to buy. An Exmark Laser Z.
Back in San Diego, Gerald Henderson, who signed with Duke, the leading scorer in the first half with 10 points. Dave Pasch, Jason Williams, and Tim McCormick. First half impressions, guys.
Where's the transition defense, guy? Yeah. I thought that the kids played hard. The East was outstanding, though. They shared the ball almost 49%. Greg Oden really did a great job on defense.
Well, I loved everybody's ability to pass the ball. Everybody's being unselfish. Plus, the surprise was Gerald Henderson. I picked him to be the MVP of my game.
It's easy to do that at halftime.
Especially when you're from Duke. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the highlights of the first half.
Never stop, guys.
All right, let's enjoy the work in transition. Gerald Henderson attacking the rim. I really like the athleticism. Blocking shots at 11 feet. And notice the transition game. Here's Javaris Crittenden getting real nice against the shot blocking D.
And this is where you see the athleticism of this game. Everybody high rises. Can't even tell you who got that one, but it's Henderson or if it was Oden. And here's the passing ability right there, Javaris. Seeing Lance Thomas in open floor, passing the ball, making this game special.
Henderson has 10, the lead all scorers in the first half. Greg Oden, 4 points, 4 blocks. He's going to Ohio State.
Huh. Calories provide energy, but how much energy do you need? Powerade Option, the low-calorie sports drink. Calories provide energy, but how much energy do you need? Powerade Option, the low-calorie sports drink.
May I take your...
Every vehicle we build comes with our racing spirit. Honda, proud to be part of the 2006 IndyCar Series.
What if you attached an innovative wing structure to some bicycle machinery and launched it from a sand dune? that works. What if you created a thin piece of plastic that could easily be used just like money anywhere in the world? That works. Suppose we created an IP network so far-reaching and expansive, it could make doing business more efficient around the globe. Suppose we put your global business network in the hands of world-class professionals, people who know it from end to end, people who know how to make it efficient. Verizon has joined with MCI to form Verizon Business, where global capability meets personal accountability to make your business more successful and your life a little easier. That works. Introducing Verizon Business.
Opening day is on ESPN and ESPN2. Nationals Mets, Red Sox Rangers, and Braves Dodgers. Opening day, Monday beginning at 1 on ESPN and ESPN2.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? 1, 2, 3.
The NCAA Women's Basketball Championship Final Four begins Sunday on ESPN. Coverage starts at 6:30 Eastern. Presented by Orbitz.
Dave Pash and two former McDonald's All-Americans, Jason Williams and Tim McCormick, back with the second half of the 29th edition of this fantastic game in our Harley-Davidson game track. Gerald Henderson, who signed with Duke, the leading scorer. Spencer Hawes, who is signed with Washington, and Kevin Durant of Texas, both with 7 points for the West squad.
10 different players scored for the East squad. They had 9 assists in an all-star game, which I think is outstanding. I'm really impressed, though. Gerald Henderson's been the best player on the court.
He definitely has. I'm really intrigued to see what Lawson is going to bring to the table the second half. He came over to me and told me, be prepared for a show. So we might be seeing something special this second half coming up.
Seems like a lot of these point guards are being mentored by you. They always seem to follow you around like a puppy dog. I've noticed that Crittenden's around and Carter, Augustin. These guys seem to really look up to you. What are you telling them?
Well, I was telling them, to go out there and have fun, but you have to play every play like it's going to be your last, and that's the biggest piece of advice I can give them. Looking at Greg Oden right there, one of the most dominant high school players out of Indiana history. Big strong man. Tim, a quick question for you off the subject, but can you imagine him in about a year from now, 20 pounds more?
Oh, well, you don't like him now, Jason? He's 275, which scares me because you look at him, you think he's long and lanky, and if you add 20 pounds, he's right at 300, which I can't even imagine.
Maybe the reason, guys, why he's not starting is because he hurt his wrist in the first half dunking, and we've got a net problem right now. The other night of the Powerade Jam Fest, we had a rim problem. Darrell Arthur contributed to breaking the rim. Gerald Henderson helped also as he won the slam dunk competition. Here's a look at the Powerade Jam Fest. You can see it on ESPN following this game.
Well, that's what happens when you do dunks like that with your heads by the rim.
How about this kid here, Chase Buninger of Arizona? Look at this.
Hello, say hello to my little friend.
Chase is a volleyball player, but this is the guy that took it home. And the reason is, if you go back old school, his dad played in the NBA, very good friends with Julius Erving, and when you hang with the doctor, you know it's got to have some carryover. As a matter of fact, he used to call Julius Uncle Julius.
Oh. The thing is, these guys don't even need running starts to do windmills. I mean, what's going on, Tim? I mean, I had to run from half court to do a windmill.
You're asking me?
Come on, Tim, in your prime.
I was in a dunk contest once, and I started off with a two-hander, and then I went deep into my arsenal and did a one-hander. That's all I know. Chase Buninger, tremendous player. Very difficult for these guys. It's been a long week, but in the 102-year history of California's Mr. Basketball, only 3 players have been named the MVP of the state of California from San Diego County. Chase won it this year, which is a huge honor. The last guy was a guy named Bill Walton.
Well, they fixed the net. They try an alley-oop on the opening play of the second half. It fails. And here is Damon Carter, number 2 in what you guys talked about him in the first half. Carter signed with Baylor.
Tweedy.
7,200 plus points, although he misses the 3 there. Set the national record for threes in a season as well this year with 246, and he's the #1 all-time scorer in high school basketball, Devon Carter.
His story is amazing. He was in 7th grade, and he was on the JV, and he was sitting on the bench for the varsity game in his uniform. They were down. Nobody was hustling, so the coach put him in. He nailed 4 3-pointers in about a 6-minute stretch and was a fixture for the next 5 years.
I was just learning how to do it with my left hand in the 7th grade, guys. Got to be honest.
Brandon Wright gets the shot that falls. You look at the numbers for Devon Carter. Again, will play for Scott Drew at Baylor. Alley-oop. And unable to finish is Darrell Arthur.
Wait, was that a set play in an all-star game?
I think it was, Tim.
I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
Javaris Crittenden doesn't get the bounce. Crittenden had a good first half with 8 points. He signed with Georgia Tech. You can see the scroll at the bottom of your screen with the players and how many points they have and what school they've signed with. All the players in this game have signed with the exception of 2 players who are undecided. Daquan Cook, one of 3 in this game who signed at Ohio State, gets that one to go.
And I tell you, with Greg Oden down low drawing so much attention, he's going to have a chance and opportunity next year to knock down a lot of 3-point shots.
The reason he went to Ohio State, he visited and noticed that there were no banners in the Schottenstein Center of recent note, so he said, I want to put some banners up there with my friends.
I tell you, it's a guard's dream if you can play with a big guy who's so unselfish as Greg Oden. Get rebound, he's pass the ball back out.
Here's Carter. Nice touch pass. And Brooke Lopez with the jam. Lopez, who is the older twin by 1 minute with his brother Robin, both going to Stanford. And we got a timeout here.
See the touch pass right here. The other thing they're going to bring a lot to the table for Stanford too, their size, their ability to shoot the ball. Still need to work, I think, on their strength a little bit, but I mean, rebounding, they're beasts down low, Tim.
Yeah, and they're really good kids too, smart students. There's Robin. The happiest people in their lives are when Brooke got his haircut, though, because they were impossible to check out the difference. Now Robin's got a little do going, and Brooke's got the low-rise cut, and we know who they are.
They went to San Joaquin Memorial in Fresno. Another good player on that high school team, Quincy Pondexter. He is signed with Washington. But Stanford missed the NCAA tournament this year after, I think it was 11 straight years. And as we mentioned, Brooke, the older twin brother by 1 minute.
A little more experience.
Definitely. Tim, I see
hence
Scotty,
less hair.
I see Scotty Reynolds in the game. What do you think they do about the Oklahoma job next year?
Well, I don't know who the top candidates are. Obviously, he's very concerned because a big reason he went to Oklahoma was because of Calvin Sampson. Coach Sampson called him yesterday. They spoke for 10 minutes. Scotty said he didn't say a word. He was so upset, and rightly so. It's a tough situation, but he did acknowledge that it's business.
Carter, beautiful feed and a foul. Reynolds is wearing number 3 in red.
I love Carter as a point guard. I mean, off the dribble delivery like that, and his reputation is that he's a scorer. Scott Drew is going to have to make him run the point a little bit. His nickname, Tweety. His grandma named him that because she said he cried like a little baby bird.
I love that. But speaking about Oklahoma, I got a sleeper name for you for Oklahoma job. What do you think about John Lucas going to coach Oklahoma?
Wow.
Heard there was some interest on his part there. Some interest from the school.
The Dana Altmans of the world, that name's come up.
Mark Turgeon.
Yeah, Wichita State, Altman at Creighton.
I love John Lucas.
Coach at Cleveland, I think it would be a good fit.
His son, John Lucas III, playing at Oklahoma State. Nice pass to right, and Brooke Lopez with a block. And Augustin, who signed with Texas, steps on the sideline. What a tough situation that must be. And I don't know, Jason, if there were any, when you were going to Duke, any of the rumors of Coach Krzyzewski leaving at that time. Obviously, the Lakers situation a few years ago, but it's got to be very difficult for a player when you sign somewhere and then you're starting to worry about whether the guy that you decided to play for is thinking about leaving.
Well, obviously that can jeopardize his entire career. You talk about a new coach comes in, maybe he doesn't like the style of play that Scotty has. I mean, it can really influence his playing time. So it's a big decision on his part. I think there has to be some kind of out clause for him. I think there has to be something saying that he doesn't have to go there if he wouldn't like to.
One of the things that Reynolds was so upset about is he thinks they've got one of the best recruiting classes. What do you guys think of that decision by Indiana to hire Kelvin Sampson?
It's a no-brainer. The guy wins 20. He does it the right way. The big change for him is that he's got to keep the best players in state. Guys like Eric Gordon and Josh McRoberts, and there's so many good players, Sean May, that have left the state. He just keeps the home guys home. They're going to be great.
Well, how about two guys in this game? Greg Oden and Mike Conley from Indianapolis on the #1 high school team, both leaving the state to play at Ohio State.
Well, I got a question. What happened to Steve Alford? I mean, now he kind of just disappeared out of the picture.
Yeah, there was some talk about Missouri, and that fell through, obviously, with Mike Anderson getting that job. Long three-point attempt won't go for Carter. Here's Javaris Crittenden on the other end, the alley-oop, and both Macklin and Clark were perplexed as to who that was intended for, and neither went for it.
Everybody's enjoyed George Mason, but the fact that these players are not going to be jumping to the NBA and they're going to be filling the rosters of the elite schools, you wonder if the George Mason situations are going to go away in the future because they may not be able to compete with, a Macklin or Durant and Oden, guys like that normally might have gone right to the NBA. Next year, they're probably in the Final Four.
Well, that new rule must be at least 19 years of age or a year out of high school to go to the NBA. I think that's one of the reasons why George Mason is in the Final Four, because some of the best players that were at bigger schools or would have been at bigger schools are now in the NBA. Well, you guys can talk about that when we come back to San Diego. The West is taking a 1-point lead, first since early in the game.
NBA doubleheader action, Sunday, 12:30 Eastern on ABC.
When you are a kid, it's easy. You do it just because you like it. So my advice to you is never grow up, my friends.
From the people who brought you 2004's Dawn of the Dead.
What's with the spitting? Don't let him in your mouth!
They're doing things to people, turning them into monsters.
Something's wrong with me.
Slither, rated R. Chick is hardcore. Starts Friday.
Introducing Red Zone Clear Gel, our strongest clear gel ever.
Wait, check this, right? 3 million drivers switched to Geico last year, yeah? I'm telling you this. Why? Well, because I want you to help spread the word. Bloke hears that number, he's quite impressed. He's like, 3 million? That's a lot of people. Why wasn't I invited? Then you're like, of course you're invited. So he stops by geico.com and he gets his free rate quote. OK, sure, all right, it's not a real party, it's a website, but at least now the fella's done his homework.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Stop paying too much for phone service. Switch to Vonage and you'll save up to 50% on your phone bill. You'll get unlimited local and long distance, voicemail, caller ID, call waiting, all for just $24.99 a month. Plus 1 month free. Vonage, leading the internet phone revolution.
Yeah, the West on a 34-13 run as we welcome you back to San Diego, and a couple of members of the Chargers team are standing by with Tim McCormick.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. I've got the best tight end in football, Antonio Gates, and LT LaDainian Tomlinson, the best all-around running back. Now, you were the judge of the dunk contest at 5'10.5". What have you got in the dunk department?
I got a little bit. I can throw it down, tomahawk, throw it off the backboard, dunk it, so I can do a little bit.
What'd you think of the first half and the early part of the second?
I'm really enjoying it, the up-tempo, but I like to see the big fella a little bit more, Oden. I heard so much about him, so I want to see him get in there and do something.
All right, LT, thank you. And Antonio played in the NCAA, a star for Kent State. What did playing college hoops do to help you play tight end in the NFL?
I think my best aspect that I took to the NFL is that my hand-eye coordination. I think that playing basketball, running up and down that court, gives you a sense of hand-eye coordination, and it helped me a lot on the NFL.
All right, great. You had a chance to star in the NFL and come out of nowhere, in terms of college football experience. When you watch these kids, what do you miss most about playing basketball?
Just, the fact that they got a chance to have fun and play with close friends. Because once you get to the next level and as you go on in your career, things become business aspect and it becomes more personal. So, you know, playing basketball in high school, you know, some of them guys that I played with in high school, I'm still friends with them now. So that's the part I miss the most, is that it's not so, everything is personal, it's not business. So you want to win, you want to come out and play and have fun. Now, you know, everything is about the money, everything is a business.
Thanks a lot, Antonio. Enjoy, give a little Detroit love and enjoy the rest of the game, all right? All right.
Very much.
All right, guys, back to you.
All right, Tim. Jason, expound on that a little bit, because you've got a situation here where you've got Wayne Ellington, best friends with Gerald Henderson on the same high school team. Ellington going to North Carolina, Henderson to Duke. Is it possible for that friendship to stay as strong as it is right now?
Well, I think the friendship can exist, but it has to exist on a much lower level. I mean, I don't think people understand that when you come down to North Carolina, see Daquan Cook knocking down the long three-point shot there. It's a different environment. I mean, these teams, these fans hate each other, literally hate each other. So, I mean, I remember I was good friends with Joseph Forte. It kind of simmered down as the years went on.
Here's Daquan Cook again, missing that time. You heard Damian Tomlinson call for more of Greg Oden. I don't know if we'll see Oden again. He hurt his wrist, his right wrist, in the first half on a dunk, and has not been in the game in the second half. As Vernon Macklin, who is signed with Georgetown, drops that one through.
You know, though, guys, I agree with what Gates says, though. I mean, these are the times right now, especially in college and high school, where you enjoy playing the game. It's for fun. When you get to the next level, you have a lot of guys trying to provide things for the family. I mean, it kind of become, I mean, kind of a do-or-die situation once you get up to the next level. Tim, would you agree?
Yeah, I do. And over the last 2 years, 14 players have gone from this game into the NBA. The last couple of years, I noticed a lot of very uptight kids thinking, if I go off, I may jumpstart my NBA career right away. They look like they're having fun. They've enjoyed the practices. That's the big difference, Dave.
Remember J.R. Smith? He came in very loose a couple years ago, and then he had that great game. Well, maybe some of the other guys are real tight. I don't know how much Smith was thinking about the pros before that game, but because of that game, he ended up going to the NBA. These guys don't have to worry about it this year because they're going to college no matter what.
But you know, the sad thing is, too, you see a lot of these guys who do jump. I mean, these are guys sitting the bench. Don't really get, I mean, JR's played a little bit for New Orleans, but hasn't played that much. I mean, the guys aren't getting an opportunity to really progress in their game.
Well, it's also about development. When you get to the NBA, you better be ready. And let's take a look at Greg Oden. He has his sprained wrist, so he's probably not going to play anymore. But what's his impact? He didn't get shots, but his defense led his team. Is there a reason they got out to a huge lead with him out there, and now all of a sudden he's not playing, and the opponent has come back? There's a strong correlation, my friends.
And since he left the game, the West team has actually gotten some shots off. He had 4 blocks while he was in the game.
Here's the perfect example. You played with Eddie Curry your rookie year. He went to the NBA right out of high school, and I don't think he was ready. Greg Oden will benefit going to college. In which ways do you think he will, Jason?
I think he'll just benefit from, I mean, he'll get a chance to expand on his repertoire down low. Get a chance to work on that little mid-range jump shot. He'll go a lot of screen and rolls in the NBA. He'll really have an opportunity to knock down a little mid-range, Tim, which you're so nice at knocking down every time we play horse. I mean, he'll get a chance to work on aspects of the game. I don't know if he'll get a chance to work on as much in the NBA.
Well, and you have a player like Carmelo Anthony, who went to college for 1 year, got the college experience, and won a national championship, which you'd have to think helped him getting to the next level, having the confidence and winning a championship.
Tim, no, I think it'll be bigger than physical attributes as well as mentally. He'll get a chance to lead a team. He'll be asked to lead his team in every way, and when he gets to the next level, he will be a franchise player and be asked to do that as time goes on.
When we had his game earlier this year, I thought it was interesting because we talked about going to the NBA, and he'll have a chance if he's a #1 pick, which he obviously will, to make $100 million with his shoe deal and his rookie deal. He said he's not sure. He may want to stay for 2 or 3 years in college, and I believe him. That's a possibility in my eyes.
And that would be great for college basketball. As the three-pointer goes for Scotty Reynolds, who is signed with Oklahoma. Said that he is locked in to play for the Sooners, even though Kelvin Sampson is going to be the new coach at Indiana.
Bob Gibbons is the premier talent evaluator of high school basketball. He's been doing it for 30 years. He said that Greg Oden is the best prospect since a guy named Lou Alcindor. That's pretty strong.
Now, is that just for big men, or is that
big
include
men?
LeBron James? Okay, no. So that's just big men. Brandon Wright, pretty good big man. He's signed with North Carolina. He's been compared to Chris Bosh. I don't know if you guys see that one or not.
Long lefty.
Daquan Cook off with that 3. He'll be Oden's teammate at Ohio State. Earl Clark ahead of the pack. Clark, who's signed with Louisville, and he gets fouled.
I think that's what I like about Earl Clark the most, is that for a guy 6'9", 6'10", can take the ball, put it on the floor, kind of be a point forward in a sense, a lot like Scottie Pippen, run the offense.
And he's a very good fit at Louisville with Rick Pitino, because they play that kind of up-tempo pressing style, long, athletic guys. They were so good when they had players like Francisco Garcia that could play the passing lanes, play that up-tempo style.
Well, you look at Louisville, you know, had they had Sebastian Telfair and Amir Johnson, they may not be in the NIT, as Spencer Hawes with the jam. Pass from Buttinger to future Pac-10 players. Buttinger signing with Arizona, Hawes with Washington.
And I think that's another great example right there, you know, talking about Sebastian. I mean, he's barely playing right now for Portland, Tim.
It's tough. He would be a lot better player if he was in college right now, development.
How about Ty Lawson ahead to Thaddeus Young? A Carolina guy to a future Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket. Thaddeus Young's been impressive, guys, in this game.
Yeah, he's been going off, and I think Georgia Tech's going to get a heck of a basketball player when he steps on their campus.
And you know he can dunk. When he was in high school, they had a pep rally. Everybody was there. They're jumping up and down. He goes up during the pep rally with all the students there, and he dunked it, and he shattered the backboard.
Also a great student, 4.0 student, Thaddeus Young. Dad was a college coach. Pretty nifty defensive play by Sharon Collins, and then the basket on the other end for the future Kansas Jayhawk.
You know, I got a chance to talk to him earlier today in practice, and he was so pumped up to go against Tywan Lawson. He wants to play against him hard every possession. He's showing you why he's doing at this game.
You think he's #1 versus #2?
I think so.
Gerald Henderson got the basket on the other end. 12 points now for Henderson, who signed with Duke. Leading scorer in this game is Daquan Cook with 14 points. Cook will play at Ohio State.
There are 5 point guards in this game. The other players average.
Hey, Oden's back in, by the way, as he jams that one down. He's got his right wrist taped up.
I like that about him. I was going to question him a little bit. I was going to wonder if he was shying away from the competition.
You think he was scared of somebody?
I don't know. The crowd maybe, but I like how he stepped back in the game. We got it done. Get going again.
I don't know if Thad Mata likes that, though. There's John Shire, Northbrook, Illinois, who has signed to play at Duke. It's the basket, averaged 34 points per game as a junior in high school.
You know, he kind of has the swagger of Chris Collins. I don't know if you can see it, mirror Chris Collins back in college. But Chris Collins just had that swagger to him where every time he knew he was going to shoot and knock down a shot.
You look back at Duke basketball, and you've got J.J. and Christian Laettner, Jason Williams. What's it like being the target of the opponent so much?
Well, it's every night you have to bring your A game, because you know you're going to get your A game from everybody stepping the court against it. I think that's going to be a big challenge for this young team next year, talking about losing JJ, and Sheldon Williams. Who's going to be the star of that team every night out?
Beautiful defensive play by Ty Lawson, and then Thaddeus Young with the throwdown. Greg Oden back into the game despite a banged-up wrist. Gets the jam.
You can't ignore Friday's sizzling chicken and shrimp, so come in for one of our irresistible sizzling platters. Everyone could use more Fridays.
What if you attached an innovative wing structure to some bicycle machinery and launched it from a sand dune? That works. What if you created a thin piece of plastic that could easily be used just like money anywhere in the world? That works. Suppose we created an IP network so far-reaching and expansive, it could make doing business more efficient around the globe. Suppose we put your global business network in the hands of world-class professionals, people who know it from end to end, people who know how to make it efficient. Verizon has joined with MCI to form Verizon Business, where global capability meets personal accountability to make your business more successful and your life a little easier. That works. Introducing Verizon Business.
Mitch must be proud of his boy. How do you feel about yours, Bill? If you want him to throw 50 yards, well, give him 50 50 yards. Do you want your son's only glory to be belching the alphabet? No! You want to point proudly from the 50-yard line and say, that's my boy. Drinks like a soda, kicks like an energy drink. Vault, get to it!
You can't ignore Friday's sizzling chicken and shrimp. So come in for one of our irresistible sizzling platters. Everyone could use more Fridays.
John Saunders back in New York with the 30th 30 update. Major League Baseball will hire former Senate Majority Leader George Mitchell to head an investigation into past steroid use by players, most prominently Barry Bonds. ESPN has learned all players being investigated, including Bonds, will be allowed to continue playing during the investigation. Meanwhile, the Cleveland Cavaliers got 46 points out of their young leaders tonight, LeBron James, and they are headed to the playoffs for the first time since James went there. Back to you.
The McDonald's All-American Girls Squad looking on. So is the head coach of the Los Angeles Clippers, Mike Dunleavy. General Manager Elgin Baylor also in the house here tonight. Remember, the franchise at one point was the San Diego Clippers in the Bill Walton days.
Do you guys remember the San Diego Conquistadors? Will Chamberlain used to play for them.
That's my time. That's my time.
Greg Oden is fouled on the floor.
But speaking about McDonald's All-Americans, how about the job Elton Brand has been doing this year for the Clippers? All-Star year?
Yep.
You think he's MVP?
He's up there. Right now I give it to Chauncey Billups, but you'd have to say there's a good chance. You know, we talked a little bit about Oden. No, I take that back. We've talked a ton about Oden, but he deserves it. He would start right now for 29 of the 30 teams. The Pistons are the only team that he would come off the bench for.
Wow. Chase Budinger and then Kevin Durant with the finish. Nice pass by Budinger. Very solid. Budinger going to Arizona and Durant to Texas. I don't know if we've talked enough about Kevin Durant as Thaddeus Young gets that one to go. Durant going to Texas. He's only 17 years old, guys. Rick Barnes is going to get a heck of a player. He's got a size 20 shoe. He's got that huge wingspan. If he puts on some more weight, look out.
Well, I think that's the thing. You see his body type right now being so lean and mean. They call him Slim Shady. I mean, but you talk about he gained a couple pounds. I mean, he's going to be a beast down low.
And he can also fill it up from the outside, as we've seen tonight. Durant 3 in white. And we have a foul here.
Kevin Durant is a huge fan of T-Mac, Tracy McGrady. And what he does, he studies his game, he TiVos them, and runs the court as well as any big man I've seen. You know, he was a young guy. He was only 5'11". 5'11", he played point guard. And then all of a sudden, he was 6'6" the next year. He went on a growth spurt. He kept the perimeter skills, and all of a sudden, he was a long, rangy athlete that could run.
You know what? The same thing happened to a guy's son we just looked at, Mike Dunleavy Jr. Came into Duke 6'6", and next year he was 6'9", and was able to carry the same kind of physical abilities, ball handling, decision-making at the point forward spot.
When was your growth spurt, Jason?
He never had one.
Yeah.
Tim on the other end, Tim was 7 feet out of the womb.
Have you always been tall? No, when I was a baby, I was much shorter.
Durant gets in there with the left hand. And then Thaddeus Young, that's got to be goaltending. Count it.
He's a unique kid, though, and having a chance to talk to his family, very tight. You know, they had a lot of opportunity, he and his godfather, to rebound the ball. He sent in hundreds of thousands of shots over the years, spent in the gym, just he and his godfather. And most of these players have a success story like that. You know, somebody helped them. They were incredibly gifted in their work ethic, but it doesn't happen alone. There's a lot of support teams that don't get the credit.
And that's why this is such a big experience, because it's not only these kids who are making it, but it's these kids and their entire families.
Travis Budinger along the baseline gets a basket.
Everybody contributed with somehow, some sense of giving these kids a chance to really try to achieve their dreams.
Here's Thaddeus Young, hanging, unable to score, and Budinger with the rebound. A great pass, and Durant with the finish. Again, the Budinger-Durant connection. Budinger going to Arizona, Durant to Texas. They might regret those moves and want to play together as good as they look together here today.
How about his ball handling ability? How about Budinger just bringing the ball up and making the playmaking decision?
I remember Lute Olson in January said that Budinger might end up being one of the best players, if not the best player he's ever had, and that's high praise. Oh, how about Collins on the floor?
That's good.
Shire. Rubber glove for three.
That's good. I'm telling you, Chris Collins like.
Ooh, Collins went down hard. So did Lawson. Do you guys remember a McDonald's All-American game? We've had as much defense and intense play as we see Durant hit the three from the corner.
But you know what? You know who started the series of threes? I tell you, it's Durant Collins. I mean, he dove on the floor, got to his ball, kicked it out. He started everything, came back and made the defensive play on Taiwan Lawson. I mean, that's the kind of hard effort that you need in order to win basketball games. You saw here on the pass by Shire for Budinger up top. The finish. I mean, those are the kind of plays that make basketball games. That's what's giving this team, you see, a great look. How about that, Tim? How about the ability to, you think you make passes like that when you were younger?
Absolutely not. You know, Kevin Durant would leave school and he would go to the gym and he would shoot and he'd shoot and he'd shoot. And at 6 o'clock, his grandma would bring his dinner to the gym and he would eat it and then he would go back and work some more. He has a tremendous work ethic.
West outscoring the East 15-0. Meanwhile, Budinger was talking to one of the gentlemen who's refereeing the women's game earlier. He reffed a lot of Budinger's high school games. Says the kid never showboats after he makes a big play, doesn't trash talk to anybody, and we've seen what a terrific kid he's been over the last few days. Cox Arena, San Diego, McDonald's High School All-American game, the 29th edition. Two former McDonald's All-Americans, Tim McCormick and Jason Williams on Dave Patch, the West in white. The red is the East squad, and Greg Oden, who is headed to Ohio State, gets called for traveling. Probably his first mistake all night for the National High School Player of the Year. Back in a moment.
Rated T for teen. In 2013, a new breed of soldier will be unleashed.
Crosscom on.
Cover! Go! Send in the bird!
Affirmative. Apache's en route.
Target locked. What's that tank? Move! Where's my Apache?
Inbound hot, Ghost Leader.
Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter.
Introducing mobile ESPN. Sports fans, your phone has arrived.
There's a better way to mow a lot more grass in a lot less time. And that's why more landscape professionals trust the zero-turn technology of an Exmark Laser Z. Now you too can take advantage of this industry-leading performance on your property. You'll be impressed with the maneuverability, faster ground speeds, and the quality of cut. So mow like a pro and be done in about half the time on the last mower you'll ever need to buy. An Exmark Laser Z.
First, it was David versus Goliath, then Ali versus Frazier, and now comes the mother of all battles. Ed versus Spencer. Which roommate can make the best porn, gain the most weight, and who's toughest? Bring it on. With a new challenge every week. It's Ed versus Spencer, Thursdays at 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific, only on BBC America. May the best friend win.
Welcome back to San Diego. Well, it's been an interesting 12 months, to say the least, for DJ Augustin, who is signed with Texas. For more on that, here's Tim McCormick standing by with DJ.
Thanks a lot, Dave. DJ Augustin was an all-state player, led his team to a state title as a junior, was ready to win another title, and then tragedy struck with Katrina. Can you take us through the scenario of the hurricane and then the devastation afterward?
Oh, it was devastating. You know, me and my family, we got out of there before it could happen. And, you know, my family came out safe, you know, and we went to Houston. We didn't have nothing. And our family took us in. You know, they helped us get back on our feet. And
you know, we took it from there. And my grandfather stayed behind, but we found him, and everything was good from there.
So you ended up living where, and how did your team do in this displaced situation?
We found a home in Fresno, Texas, and my team, they made it to the 3rd round of the playoffs, and we did very well.
All right, congratulations, DJ. Good luck to you. And you wanted to say hi to everybody back home, right?
Everybody back home. I love y'all, Brandon. I love y'all.
All right, back to you, Dave.
Great to hear that the Augustin family is okay, and so many people reached out to welcome in strangers into their homes in the midst of Hurricane Katrina and the aftermath.
You talk about such a catastrophe. One of my really good friends is affected by it as well, Chris Duhan, and actually started a relief fund that we all contributed to. But I mean, it's times like that that just bring our country together. And you know, for Augustine, he has, you know, a huge void to fill next year when he steps in there and plays with LaMarcus Aldridge and Brad Buckman and PJ Tucker. They're gonna have a great opportunity to win it all next year as well.
You think some of those guys might go pro?
Kevin Durant can't, but he could certainly play in the NBA. He is headed to Texas.
But Gibson and Tucker and Aldridge?
I think they all can, but I'll tell you, this kid right here is special. He has not forced one shot this entire game. And Tim, you may have called, I think Durant will get MVP if he keeps performing the way he is.
He's got 21 points right now, and again, you must be 19 years of age or 1 year out of high school to go to the NBA, so we don't have to worry about these players going. Based on what you guys have seen out of the 24, how many are good enough of these 24 to play in the NBA and make a difference next year, if they could do it?
Well, I would say that there are 6 or possibly 7 that would make an impact. I'm not saying that they can just jump. There's a lot of kids that could jump and get drafted, but 6 or 7 have that ability, and Gerald Henderson is one of them.
I definitely think Oden can come in and make an impact right away. Gerald Henderson, I think, can make an impact. Some other guys, I think, will have to find their way, work their way into it. The league is a very kind of survival of the fittest, and you know, you have a lot of guys out there who are 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", who are very athletic and trying to take their job. So I mean, it would be pretty difficult for everybody else, I think.
Here's Durant, 3 in white. He's got 21, signed with Texas. Spencer Hawes has got a nice game, 32 in white. He is signed with Washington. Some think that he's the next best player behind Greg Oden in high school basketball, although Durant and many others have challenged that here tonight.
Look at that handle.
How about a charge? Greg Oden.
Wait, whoa, no, it can't be. I've never seen a charge in an all-star game, especially from one of the greatest shot blockers we've ever seen. No way.
Look at that. And the guy's playing hurt with an injured right wrist. Hurt that in the first half. Nice jumper by Lance Thomas at 2. He's trying to decide between Rutgers and Duke.
In the history of all-star games, that is the first charge in the history of.
Oh, come on, Tim. I took a charge in '99.
No way.
From a guy who loves sea lions and basketball, Greg Oden.
He has a mean streak in him, people. Sea lions.
Oh, beautiful block by the smallest player on the floor for the West, Sharon Collins at 5'11". Collins is headed to Kansas. He swatted that shot out of there.
Yeah, and talk about a player that's incredibly tough. Sharon Collins, his boy back in Chicago, Will Bynum from Georgia Tech, currently with the Warriors. Real tough.
I told you he has something to prove tonight against Taiwan Lawson. He's been showing you why.
Oden fouled hard there by 2 players, Lopez and Hawes. So Greg Oden will go to the free throw line. You look at this kid. I mean, where's an area that he can improve based on what you guys have seen?
I definitely got one, and Tim can definitely appreciate this. It's called the mean streak. I can't wait for him one day to get angry and say, give me the ball down low. I mean, just to get that kind of fire and passion on him where he's showing it. He's wearing these emotions on his sleeves.
Yeah, he's such a nice kid. His summer job, he does lawn maintenance, and he's just so sweet. He was saying that his favorite thing about it is he loves riding the lawnmower, you know, the riding mower. But he said a lot of times they make him do the weed whacker, and he gets very sad by that.
Here's Shire. Fake the 3. And he was fouled.
I want to meet the guy that's bold enough to say, no, I'm riding the lawnmower. You do the weed whacker, Greg.
Well, Tim, do you think once he kind of finds out who he is, once he has a year or whatever it is in college, and he develops that kind of fire and passion, you think that can turn him into a totally different player?
I do. Once I look at him and try to project where he's going to be, these are the names: Olajuwon, Ewing, Shaquille O'Neal, Alcindor, Chamberlain, Russ. I mean, he is going to be a Hall of Famer. There's no doubt in my mind, because if you look at the great big men, if you are the elite, you come around once every 8 or 10 years, you eventually develop into a Hall of Fame center. That's what's going to happen.
Lopez was fouled by Macklin. Robin Lopez, the younger of the twins, by 1 minute. There's Brooke on the bench. We'll go to the free throw line. Mentioned earlier in the game, this is the third time we've had twins. We had the Paris twins in the girls game last year, Courtney and Ashley, and Durant and Jason Collins back in 1997. They went to Stanford as well.
Thought he was talking about Paris Hilton. I was like, Paris Hilton was here? When did I miss that?
Get your mind back on the game.
I'm sorry. Back to basketball, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, how about that play, Budinger? What an athlete he is. World-class volleyball player. He says volleyball has helped him become a better basketball player.
Well, you know, I played volleyball for 2 years in high school, and it definitely helps on your approach to jumping. And for a guy being his height, having a 30-inch vertical, I mean, he only has high places to go in life.
Yeah, he plays a lot of beach volleyball in the summer, and I asked him, I said, "Do you notice any cute girls at the beach?" And he just kind of smiles. Well, that's why I play.
Here comes Sharon Collins, who's headed to Kansas. Shire, who signed with Duke.
And that's the difference right there for Shire. Instead of going to the basket, he stood out for three.
Here is Budinger, soon to be Arizona Wildcat for three.
This place has been waiting for him to score the entire game.
Yeah. And you know that with Arizona losing Hassan Adams, Isaiah Fox, and Chris Rogers, Lute Olson definitely needs that three-point shooting next year.
Budinger, a local kid from Encinitas, California.
Yeah. And probably considered on a national level a better volleyball player than he is basketball.
What a great athlete. Again, doesn't showboat at all. Doesn't talk trash at all. Just goes out there and plays.
I mean, come on. I mean, the talent of this game, these kids have the world in the palm of their hands. I mean, they're so athletic. If they just develop basketball IQs, there's a chance for a lot of these kids right here in this court to be great NBA basketball players.
I don't know what you guys think. I think this group right here is better than the group last year in the McDonald's All-American game. It doesn't compare to the one 2 years ago with Dwight Howard, but I think it's better than last year.
I would agree with that. And Jason, we talked about in practice that there really seems to be an emphasis on defense and unselfish play, because there aren't 200 NBA scouts here like there have been in the past. The NBA scouts are going to see them in college next year, so they can kind of focus on just making good basketball plays.
Nice passing. And Ellington, who's off to North Carolina with the finish.
Kind of like that.
No, Tim, I definitely agree with you. In '99, one of the guys who was making a big name for himself who went to the NBA draft was Jonathan Bender, and you kind of could tell at the beginning of the game he was going out to show everybody what he could do.
How about Spencer Hawes with the left hand, 7-footer from Seattle who signed with Washington.
His versatility around the basket, using the left, using the right hand, I mean, it's something that's going to make him a spectacular player when he goes to Washington.
Javaris Critton, the new sign with Georgia Tech. And then a foul called on soon-to-be Oklahoma Sooners, Scotty Reynolds. The West with a 14-point lead. Plays of the day coming up. That was one of them.
Just when it looks like stuff is out of my reach, there's McDonald's Dollar Menu. Double cheeseburgers, fries, and more for just $1 each. Puts it all right back where it belongs.
Times the protection for men who take risks.
Killing. Not tonight. Time magazine says V for Vendetta plays by its own rules. Bold and thoughtful. It's a terrific movie. V for Vendetta. Rated R. Now playing.
Yeah, no, I gotta go. Yeah, I'm getting on.
I totally spaced on that one. That was bad.
Let's just use your Capital One no hassle card.
Protect yourself with Capital One's low rates and great rewards.
I am so good.
What's in your wallet?
There are a million reasons to switch to Vonage.
It's a better home phone service.
I can keep my same phone and phone number.
I save 50% on my phone bill.
But of all the reasons, this is the biggest. Sign up today and get 1 month free. Vonage, leading the internet phone revolution.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the McDonald's Boys High School All-American Game is presented by McDonald's and in part by Harley-Davidson Motorcycles. It's time to ride. And Degree for Men protects men who take risks.
Welcome back to San Diego, where Kevin Durant, who is signed with Texas, is the leading scorer in the game with 20 points. Let's take a look at our plays of the day from the McDonald's All-American Game.
Well, the one issue that makes this game a lot different than the game last year, other than the fact you have a lot of guys playing above the rim, a lot of these guys have a lot better understanding of the game than I did at a younger age. I mean, people's ability to pass the ball, see people in open court, Thaddeus Young banging the ball down here, the pass by Chase. I mean, that's what's making this game spectacular. These kids, their understanding of the game is at such higher level than what we were when I was younger.
Leads all scorers with those 21 points and only missed 5 shots, also 5 rebounds, and not all those points at 6'10" have come in the paint. He's hit a couple of threes in this game. He also has 3 assists.
He's been doing it from every which way of the court, shooting threes, making passes, doing it all.
Wonder what the Wizard of Westwood thinks about this game, Tim.
And thanks a lot, Dave. You know, 1980 I played in this game. One of my prized possession is a picture of myself and John Wooden. What is the biggest difference when you watch this game between 1980 and today?
I believe it's the same as we see in basketball all over. The athleticism of the players today is much, much better. But as the players have become better individually, I don't believe we see quite as much team play, and that bothers me. However, you and I both know that in most all-star games, much of it is run and shoot. And we've had that here to a great extent, but there's some tremendous individual talent.
I'm interested, you had a chance to coach Bill Walton and Lou Alcindor. What do you think of Greg Oden and his potential?
Tremendous. There's no question. The statistics won't show it from this particular game, but in watching him and seeing his knowledge of the game and how he sets up, he's not a selfish player at all. His timing is excellent on block shots right off the bat. He blocked 2 or 3 that just didn't swat him out, just up nicely. He's got great timing, and I can see why he's been rated so highly.
Coach, you shared a story with me today that I loved about when you were watching a dunk at a UCLA game and how much you despise a dunk. Can you share that for our listeners?
Well, one of the UCLA players intercepted the pass at center court and went down all by himself. No one within 25 or 30 feet. Instead of just laying it up, he did a 360 and slammed it down over his head, and the fans went crazy. Stomping the floor, and someone tapped me on the shoulder and said, "What'd you think of that, Coach?" And I said, "I'd have had him out there before he hit the floor."
Coach, you're a national treasure. It's an honor to talk to you, and thanks so much for everything.
You're very kind. It's been a pleasure to be here.
All right, thanks. Back to you, Dave.
Jason, how about the fact that at age 95, Coach Wooden sounds like he could still coach?
I mean, it's amazing to me, and the fact that when I got a chance to meet him back in '99, he said, "Your best attribute is mental." He said, "That's the thing, Jason, that's going to be able to take you to a whole nother level." A lot of people like to talk about physical attributes, but it's that indomitable will that's going to make you the man you are when you're on the basketball court.
How about the fact that he only seen you a few times, yet he can point that out? Speaks to why he's such a great coach. As Thaddeus Young with the throwdown.
See, I don't like the throwdown. I'm starting to be like Coach Warner. You should have just laid it up, Thaddeus. Come on.
You see the scroll with the points and rebounds of the significant players and what school they've signed with. Nice hustle by Scotty Reynolds, who signed with Oklahoma. upset that he couldn't come up with it, but still a nice play defensively.
Dave, share your discussion with John Wooden today, because I thought it was interesting. He referenced something that happened in 1927, and can you imagine the amount of basketball that he's seen?
And he was talking about when he got baptized in 1927. I guess what he would have been 17 years old at that time, and just imagine the life experiences that John Wooden has. And he's experiencing Kevin Durant here tonight. Durant on his way to perhaps the MVP award. He's got 23 points to go along with 5 rebounds. And I hate to admit it, but McCormick, you were right on it.
Hey, Tim, could he break the scoring record?
No.
Don't think it's possible?
No.
Okay, Tim's
scoring record, what was it, 31?
31, Jonathan Bender.
No.
Okay.
Got 2 minutes to go. We'll see.
I've seen people score points in a hurry here.
All right, we'll watch it, but
I'm not calling it. I'm asking you now. You've been calling everything right today.
I said no.
Okay.
Young hits the first free throw.
See, that's the kind of fire passion that Oden needs to have. He needs to say no the way you said it.
Yes.
Look at Jason Williams' memory. Jonathan Bender, 31 back in 99. Well, you did play in that game. And then Michael Jordan, 30 back in 1981.
You know, he scored 8 of his points off Jason Williams' turnovers.
So this guy's been killing me all year long.
Well, it ends tonight. Look at it that way, Jason. Durant from beyond NBA range. He was going for the scoring record there. And Oden with a block. Oden almost caught that. He blocked it, and I don't know if the ball hit the ground until he just let it go on purpose.
Well, I know one thing. Greg Oden will not let him have the scoring title if he keeps trying to bring it in down low in the paint.
Durant will go to the free throw line. Well, you look at some of the teams that can turn around quickly next year, like Georgia Tech. I mean, Ohio State obviously had a great year, but getting Greg Oden and Mike Conley and Daquan Cook, all 3 McDonald's All-Americans next year. And you talked earlier about North Carolina. And how about Stanford getting the Lopez twins? You would think Arizona could be back at the top of the Pac-10 with Chase Budinger. Gerald Henderson with the flush. Henderson signing with Duke.
Did he actually try to duck underneath the rim when he dunked the ball?
He has to watch his head, man, if he'll get hurt out there.
If you look at the NCAA tournament this year and the length and athleticism of UCLA's front line and Florida with Horford and Noah and Tyrus Thomas, these are the kind of prototype rangy athletes that are going to dominate the NCAA tournament. You're going to see these players translate into immediate success in next year's NCAA.
You got Glenn Davis, a McDonald's All-American in the Final Four with LSU. You got Corey Brewer, a McDonald's All-American in the game with Florida. So even though those teams may not have the real high-profile names, they still have kids that played in this game and played in it recently in the Final Four. UCLA, by the way, Aflalo and Farmar. Sorry to interrupt, Tim. It's an 18-point lead for the West with just over a minute to play. 29th McDonald's All-American game. Dave Pasch interrupting Tim McCormick along with Jason Williams.
I just wanted to make the comment that you see the Powerade dunk contest coming up. Some real treats if you stay tuned. But these kids will remember this 2-hour window period of their life for the next 20, 30, 40 years, however long they live. Someday they'll be telling grandkids about playing the McDonald's game.
Brooke Lopez, much to the pleasure of his twin brother, Robin, hitting the shot.
Tim's exactly right. My little nephew the other day asked me about my McDonald's All-American reign. I was really telling him the story. He's a huge basketball fan about how I played in front of Coach John Wooden and who he was and the experience of playing in this game with a lot of great memories and a lot of great players participating as well.
Durant misses the 3. Oden with a rebound.
What's the fondest memory you guys will take away from this game?
First of all, I enjoy watching the defense of Greg Oden. I know that he didn't get showcased. John Wooden actually made the comment that he would have liked to have seen them share the ball with Greg, but he doesn't need the ball to be effective.
I think the big thing I take away from this game isn't Greg Oden. I mean, trust me, I take away, but since Tim already spoke about him, I like Sherron Collins. I think his ability to really get down and get greedy defensively and really try to come out here and make a statement against Lawson, the best point guard in the country.
Collins signed with Kansas. Lawson heading to North Carolina.
Where's Durant? Where's Durant? Where's Durant?
end the night and send us off to the slam dunk competition at the Powerade Jam Fest. Right on cue, Jason Williams.
I told you, that's my guy. A little T-Mac right here to end the game with a little flush. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, he's strong.
At 5'11", Sharon Collins with the left hand. That was awesome. Well, it was fun, guys. And we saw some terrific players. The future of college basketball and also the NBA on display tonight in the 29th McDonald's All-American game. Next year's game will be in Louisville, Kentucky. Once again, our final score in the West, 112, and the East, 94. For Jason Williams and Tim McCormick, Dave Pash saying so long from San Diego. Coming up next, the Powerade Jam Fest. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. So long from San Diego, California.
Welcome to ESPN's A Week of Madness, presented by Harley-Davidson.
We're in beautiful San Diego, California, where tonight the nation's high school elite gather to show off their skills in what has become one of basketball's most anticipated annual events. To rise.
Look out.
To fly. To create.
It's over.
To walk on air and pull the crowd from their seats. To make history. Tonight, the nation's finest in high school hoops will hit the runway, looking to rise up and claim this year's slam dunk title. Who's got what it takes? Who's ready to bring the house down? The best high school high risers get pumped for an above-the-rim battle. It's the 2006 Powerade Jam Fest. Next. Welcome to Peterson Gym on the campus of San Diego State for the 2006 Powerade Jam Fest as the national spotlight shines on many of basketball's future stars. Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Pash alongside 1999 McDonald's All-American Jason Williams. And Jason, this is the first time in the spotlight for many of these players. Take us back to 99 and what that was like for you.
Well, it was a very nervous moment. Playing in front of 15, 20,000 people was something I wasn't used to doing. But it was something that you have to do. It was a dream come true, especially for a little kid like me from a small town. You see, oh, I didn't know I used to be able to jump like that. But, I mean, this is one of the most exciting times for these kids. They're getting a chance to play in front of a San Diego crowd that is going to be very explosive tonight. And I'm sure the kids are tons of nervous. They're going to bring out tricks from everywhere. But it's going to be a night that's going to show kids and people out in the world who these kids really are.
Well, what do you expect to see? You had Gerald Green last year, had some amazing dunks, and then Candace Parker 2 years ago. Think we'll top it this year?
Well, I think Chase Budinger from actually going to Arizona is going to do an amazing job tonight. Kid plays volleyball, can jump out the gym. Also, Gerald Henderson is going to Duke. They're going to be the high risers for tonight.
Well, Jason, it's been a long time since the spotlight shone on the third member of our crew, Tim McCormick, a 1980 McDonald's All-American, but regardless, he sees eye to eye with McDonald's All-American Player of the Year in 2006. Tim?
Thanks a lot, Dave. I'm with the Morgan Wooten Award winners for the National Player of the Year. Sorry, Greg, ladies first. Tina Charles from Christ the King in New York, going to UConn. Now, 2 years ago, Candace Parker, 6'4", same height, won this dunk contest. How come you're not out there?
Well, my shoulder's messed up a little bit, but I would love to be out there. I mean, I'm just going to enjoy just watching the boys dunk. It's going to be a good thing.
Someday we'll have a girls dunk contest, right?
Of course, because girls can do anything that boys can do.
All right, Greg, congratulations to you as well. Now, I heard that you're going to be the next Bill Russell, okay? You're an honor roll student. You're the National High School Player of the Year. How do you deal with those insane type of hype and comparison and expectations?
I don't know. I just come out and I just play. Bill Russell, he's a great player, and I just want to come out here and be the best player that I can be.
All right, congratulations to both of you, and have fun tonight. Dave, back to you.
Tim, we're ready for the event to get started. Here's the schedule. First up, the girls and boys three-point shootout, followed by the team ball competition, and lastly, the slam dunk competition coming up in the 2006 Powerade Jam Fest. Our first event tonight is the girls three-point competition. We have 3 finalists. And here is how Allison Hightower made it to the championship round. 16 points in the preliminary round. Hightower headed off to LSU. Jordan Murphy with 15 points in the prelims. Murphy from Weatherford, Texas, headed for Texas Tech. Also with 15 points in the first round, soon to be Arizona State Sun Devil Diamond Simon. Top three advancing to the championship round because of the tie with Simon and Murphy. Murphy will be our first shooter in the championship round.
Challenge for these ladies is that they have to be able to release, catch, shoot, and not see the result. They have 60 seconds. That means they've got to take a shot every 2.4 seconds.
Well, another thing, Tim, that makes it very difficult for these girls is you really can't see the clock. You can't see the time. You got a clock behind you and a clock behind this big curtain right here, but you really have no idea where your time is as you shoot.
And you can't see the score. So if it gets to a point where you're shooting last and you have a score to beat, you don't know what you have.
You got to keep it mentally, baby. You got to keep it mentally.
Jordan's dad is her rebounder. She told me he's not a great shooter, but he's one of the best rebounding dads anywhere. She's going to fit in very well next year at Texas Tech.
By the way, keeping score mentally was a lot harder for you, Jason, than it was for Tim. Tim didn't have as many he had to remember.
Well, I don't know, man. Tim's beat me a couple of times in horse. He can shoot it pretty well. He doesn't like to talk about it, though. He likes to keep he's humble, very humble.
Now, this was my pick to win it. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. Just a beautiful release on Jordan Murphy's shot, though.
Only 9 points, though, for Murphy. Got to be able to hit those money balls. And she could not there. Those first 4 shots on each rack worth 1 point. And the multicolored ball worth 2 points. And Murphy finishing with 9 after 15 points in her first round. Diamond Simon, who also had 15 points in the prelims, will be next to shoot. She's off to Arizona State.
Now, what you're going to see with her shot is she launches from her right shoulder, but the end result is a thing of beauty. I want you to focus on her arm, how it's straight at the rim, extended, and her wrist is cocked right at the rim.
I'm going with her. I'm going to pick her. She's going to win just because of the name. Diamond Simon. Whenever you have a name like that, it's her winning name.
You know, actually, she was named after the daughter of Darryl Strawberry, who had the name Diamond.
Notice how Jason picks who he wants to win after someone's already shot.
Yeah,
you got a 50-50 chance.
I didn't know my name is Joseph now. It's Joseph.
If you look back at the history of this event, I think it's interesting that the girls usually shoot better and outperform the boys.
Here's a money ball shot.
Well, Tim, I think that's exactly for the reason that guys rely upon their athleticism so much, whereas girls really focus on the basics of the game, such as shooting the basketball.
Diamond's father, once again, just like Jordan, has a big hand in her career. Really a lot of positive praise pumping at his daughter all the time.
From St. Mary's High School in Avondale, Arizona, and the money ball is good. She's got 15 points, and she's the leader in the finals. She matches her first round with 15 points in the championship round. So that is the number to beat for Allison Hightower. Hightower put up 16 points in the prelims, and she'll have to get at least 15 this round. She's off to LSU, hailing from Arlington, Texas.
Let me pull a Jason. I think that Allison Hightower is going to win this event.
But when she shoots, she reminds me a lot of Nate James from Duke when he used to shoot. We used to all be mesmerized by watching the ball go in the air for about 5 seconds before it splashed down to the net.
She's proven over the course of her high school career to be a great shooter. She made nearly 50% of her threes this year.
2, 1, go!
You see it leave your picture, and then about 4 seconds later come back into the picture.
Very high arc. And with Simone Augustus leaving next year, there's going to be an opportunity for her to launch these immediately for LSU next year.
That's 3 in a row for Hightower. The 2-point ball.
The big challenge, though, is that she shoots a jump shot, and the great three-point shooters of all time, the Steve Kerrs, the Larry Birds, Craig Hodges, they shoot set shots. Del Curry, when you're jumping, your legs get a little bit tired and it gets inconsistent.
Hightower's got to heat up here. She's got 10 points. To get within 2. Only needs 2 to tie, 3 to win. 1 to tie. Oh. Uh-oh. 2 seconds left. She needs this to win. Allison Hightower hits it at the buzzer to win it. Money with the money ball at money time.
Her favorite player is Cynthia Cooper. Clutch.
Coming up, the three-point shooting contest continues.
Here's the final rack for Hightower.
5 minutes to warm up.
Had a couple of chances to tie. Actually, 3 chances to tie, and then win or bust, and she drills it.
The flair for the dramatic. What a great performance by all the ladies.
That money ball's key.
Allison Hightower, the Powerade Jam Fest Girls 3-point shootout champion. Off to play for Pokey Chapman at LSU next year. Diamond Simon comes in second with 15 points. Jordan Murphy finishes in third place with 9 points. Time now for the finals in the boys' three-point shootout. And no surprise that Damon Carter is one of the finalists. He set the national record in high school basketball for threes in a season and is #1 in career high school scoring, over 7,200 points. He hit 14 points in the preliminary round, tied with Wayne Ellington. Ellington headed to North Carolina. Ellington getting the money ball to go in one of the last racks to get 14 points to tie Damon Carter. And they'll wipe the slate clean for the finals as Carter and Ellington go head-to-head. And Carter, who's from Louisiana and headed to Baylor to play for Scott Drew, will go first.
Well, what do you think about the shock of John Shire, who is the replacement for J.J. Redick, not getting out of the preliminary round? J.J. and Chris Collins actually said you have to keep up the Duke tradition of winning this event. Will, what do you think?
He didn't hold it down, but hey, he's young. He still has a lot of time to go. But I look forward to seeing DC shoot. One of the things I told him, he can't jump as high in these shooting contests. You got to shoot low and quick. Get a rhythm.
What's the nickname?
Tweety Bird, baby. Tweety.
He participated in the Nike All-American camp as an 8th grader, got valuable experience as a youngster.
Yeah, just a flat-out scorer. Amazing. He played varsity basketball when he was only in 7th grade.
Come on, DC, get stroking, baby.
He actually said that in the preliminary round, he was really nervous on his first rack, but then started to get more comfortable and started to light it up.
Well, he's getting going now. He's got 5 points with 2 racks to go. Orange ball's worth 1 point. Multicolored basketball's worth 2.
You know, guys, I can't take it. Somebody give me a jersey. John Lucas has me making 1,000 shots a day. I want to get out there and shoot.
Oh, the first one bounced off the shot clock. Will they count it? We have controversy.
Gotta count it.
This is for 2, and he hit it. 13 points for Damon Carter. Oh, by the way, the winner for the girls, Allison Hightower, had 16 points. Keep that in mind.
I'm convinced the girls are better three-point shooters than the boys.
Is Wayne Ellington.
That's right. Oh, there it is. That's nice. That's a little luck. Luck plays a big part in this game.
He looked at the scoreboard again. He can't see the scoreboard behind the basket, so wanted to see how much time was left. And he had enough time to set, fire, and connect. And he ends up with 13 points.
How many points did you say he had? Because that's a record.
7,254.
That may never get broken. I mean, how can you play varsity as a 7th grade? When I was in 7th grade, I couldn't even find the cafeteria.
That's possible? 7,000?
Wayne Ellington is next. He's headed to North Carolina. His high school teammate is also in this McDonald's All-American game, Gerald Henderson, but Henderson is headed to Duke.
How about that for a team, huh? Duke and Carolina, the same team.
Yeah, Wayne Ellington has actually competed in 4 3-point contests before. Just like his threes, he makes about 50% success. He's won 2 of them.
Well, he's ahead at this stage of the racks of Damon Carter.
And you can look at the mechanics that he has and tell that he's a worker. Regarded as the top shooting guard in the class of 06, just a dynamite player.
Well, he's getting hot. He's got 10 points.
It looks like the ball comes off its release a little to the side, but it's still smooth.
Oh, come on.
3 to tie.
That's a North Carolina Duke criticism right there.
What are you talking about?
Needs 1
I think
to
it's too
tie.
smooth.
Would you guys stop it? He's going to win. No. For the win.
Again it happens.
We had a buzzer beater for the girls with Allison Hightower. And Wayne Ellington wins it at the buzzer in the boys competition.
Come on, there's a lot of love between Duke and Carolina. Are you serious?
You guys are talking Duke Carolina while Ellington.
He always starts. He starts there every time.
I just think he's a beautiful looking shooter here. You're criticizing the release. Come on.
Here, guys, why don't you watch this since you missed it the first time? You guys are arguing. Here you see the shot clock at 3. He misses that one. Then with 1, he just releases it as the buzzer sounds, and he drills it. 15 points for Wayne Ellington. He is the 2006 Powerade Jam Fest Boys 3-point shootout champion. Ellington the winner, Damon Carter the runner-up at the 2006 Powerade Jam Fest.
Thanks a lot, Dave. We've got some hardware to pass out here. Michael Laquier, from the brand manager from Powerade, has a presentation for Wayne Ellington.
Yeah, Wayne, congratulations on winning the Powerade Jam Fest 3-point competition. Great shooting out there. Congratulations.
And also we have Harold Lewis, who is the chairman of Powerade Jam Fest. You have something for Allison Hightower.
Right. Allison, congratulations on behalf of the San Diego McDonald's operators and the Ronald House.
Thanks a lot for your support, guys. And let's start with Wayne. Now, this is your 3rd victory in a 3-point contest. You've got the strategy down. Take us through. Did you know that you needed to make that last one to win it?
I didn't know I needed to make the last one. I just, went all out, shot at all the balls, made sure I got them off the rack. And it just so happened that the last one made me win it.
Congratulations, Wayne. And also Allison. Now, he's got a lot of experience. This is your first ever. You've never been in a contest, but you shot 50% from 3 this year. Take us through the championship. You also had to make the game winner at the buzzer.